And what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. Guys, it is great to see everybody in the chat. What is up, chat? I hope you are having a great weekend. Guys, we have an awesome show planned for you today. I didn't do it yet, so you guys can do it with me. Just hit that thumbs up button right there. Share this out on social media. You know what to do. YouTube does not do its job. They've gotten a little better, but they're still not 100% into it. So we got to do it for them, guys. Share this out and let people know that we are going live with a double header of special guests. That is right. 2 special guests. We have a, dare I say, a seasoned veteran in this community and a brand new gaming YouTuber, somebody who is really, really opinionated. I am really excited for this show. Hot topics as always. You know, we got the gameplay, we got the beats, and we have the entertaining panel. So speak of that, let's get into the intros. First off, the only man that I know that has an official military headset just there for any time he goes onto a gaming podcast. Of course, it is my brother Predator. What is up, bro?
What's up, man? I had to switch headsets because you guys were talking shit about it a couple of weeks ago. So now you guys can hear me loud and fucking clear. You know, shout out to the panel members, the hosts, the new guys we have coming on today. One of them not new, but the other guy, you know, hey man, don't worry about it, man. We'll take care of you. I know it's your first time on the show. We got you. Don't even worry about it, man.
Roger that.
Dude, if I ever heard Pred say that to me, I'd be extra nervous after that. But yo, don't worry about it. Yo, Pred, we got some fire things to talk about. Awesome topics. I can't wait to hear your opinions on it. But dude, we gotta intro everybody. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
I'll allow it.
So next on the list, you guys might know him as that hardcore gearhead. But I got news for you. He plays other games. I've seen him. Not only that, he showed you guys with his gameplay last week. My brother Crispy, what is up, bro?
What is up, panel? What is up, chat? I am ready to roll. We got some French fry taters, baby. Woo!
It sounded like he cut off right after that, too. Like,
yeah, I did.
Gone. Yeah. Well, Crispy, it's always good to have you dropping that crispy truth every Saturday. We definitely, I think there are some topics there that you might go off on. It's going to get interesting, bro.
Oh, it's going to be fun, baby. Let's go.
Nice. And next on the list is my West Coast brother, the man who now refuses to save the world. And as soon as he retired from that job, guys, look what happened out there. Of course, my brother Dark Optimus, what is up, bro?
What's up, man? I know 2020 became a big pile of shit, didn't it?
Dude, I'm gonna start a petition on Twitter. You need to get back to work, brother.
I need to get back to work.
You need to get back to work.
save these people from their badness.
Oh man, yo, it is definitely crazy out there. But dude, it is good to have you on today.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You're not gonna hold back. Of course, one of our special guests, I think you know him fairly well, so,
Yeah, I know him. I know him really well. You know, he's got another shitty podcast over there.
Oh. God damn it, Boom!
Damn it, brother! Oh. and that is
fired.
That is how we're starting off, man. Now, let me get to the cream of the crop here, and I'm going to start with the seasoned veteran. Guys, get ready for those moochisms. Those food analogies, and for God's sakes, who's yelling? My brother Mooch is here. What is up, bro?
What is up, Xbot448? Xbot, it is great to be on Next again, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. And let me be honest with you. There's always one guy on the panel that can give Mooch a run for his money on yelling, and that's Xbot448. So I will be honest with you. It's going to be we got a lot of great discussion pieces tonight. So I'm excited to get into it. I already ate dinner, so the food analogies will come, but they're going to be they're going to be a little slower than usual, because usually when I do Crossfire, I'm starving to death. So that being said, guys, let's get into it, and I appreciate the invite. Thank you, Xbox.
Nice, Mooch. I think that's a little insight people might not have had before. If you are full, then the food analogies will come a little bit later. If you're hungry,
that's true.
Right off the bat.
I'm digesting, that's right. Nonetheless.
Yo, shout out to our brother Wilmy Hood for hitting up that super chat. Already, he is like shots fired. Wilmy, thank you for the support, brother. And last, but certainly not least, you guys know this show. We like to bring, new YouTubers, people who are on, that are up and coming in the YouTube space. I came across one of his videos in my recommended section, and as soon as I went to his channel, I swear, I just started binge watching his videos. Absolutely entertaining. A lot of fun to watch. And I thank God that he decided that he will show up here today with us on Next. SupaNova Gaming, what is up, bro?
What's happening, man? I'm just a little guy, so I was honored to be asked to be here. And fuck it, man, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Nice. And yo, I was talking to Supa off air about his dude bros and how contagious they are. And Supa, I'm gonna say it on air, man. I walk around the house. My kids look at me like I'm crazy, but I always walk around and I'm like 12 T-flops, yo. And they look at me like I'm nuts, man. You started something that I have a feeling my family absolutely hates. I hope you're proud of yourself, brother.
Hey, man, it's taken on a life of its own, so it's out of my hands, man.
All right, guys, and that is the panel for today. Sit back, guys, enjoy. We are going in to our first topic, and yo, we hit our special guest first. Let's tackle the big Sega announcement. You know, before Sega actually came out, before the article actually came out, the journalist who was writing this big Sega announcement was saying it's gonna be revolutionary. Talking about like when the PS4 I think was unveiled, in the scope of that, and what we got was possibly a little less than what people were thinking we got. What we got was the Game Gear Micro, 4 different small Game Gears with 4 different games on each one. They have 4 different colors. The theme is 4 for some reason. I don't know why. But I gotta say, when it came to the community, there was a lot of talk about, well, Xbox is working with Sega. What could this mean? Is Sega gonna brand Xbox's Series X in Japan? There were so many crazy things going on. So Mooch, I'm gonna go to you first. Yeah. I know we usually do a kind of like a roundtable discussion, but Mooch, you've been on here so many times that every time that happens, we kind of loosen that up. So expect people to chime in and,
absolutely,
and all that good stuff. But Mooch, what do you think about the hype before the announcement? And then what do you think about what Sega actually showed us, bro?
Well, I think before we even get into those 2 questions, which I will tackle, we do have to say first and foremost, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, okay? I think everybody's just a little always, the minute we say Sega, it's like, bring back the Dreamcast.
Yo, for real.
Give me the Dreamcast. Put it in a miniature, anything. I'll just take it. I'll play it. Stop it. We are on these shows every week because we can't wait for what's coming next. It doesn't mean we don't love our old games. It's a part of who we are. However, at the same time, when I saw this, I figured, okay, I knew the whole thing with it going to be merged with Microsoft. That just didn't make any sense. And the ads you saw coming out, it didn't make any sense. It didn't look right. But here's the thing with the Mini. It's the same thing with the Nintendo SNES Mini that we got. And I bought one, okay? I'm a sucker too. Nostalgia gets all of us. It gets all of us. But you end up bringing it home. You play it for a few minutes. You go, I remember this. I remember that, right? Then you put the controller down, and then you pick up something you bought yesterday or something, one of the games you have in your backlog from 2019, 2020. So, I mean, when I saw this, I said, you know what? Listen, I think that the hype that they did, I got to give credit where credit's due. They came out and said, right, the marketing, they said that it's on the same caliber as a PS4 release. They said it's going to be unbelievable. It's something that we just unprecedented, right? And then it's literally, it could not be farther from the truth. It is the smallest, minuscule nonsense that we've seen. But you know what? Listen, it got everybody talking about it. It got people looking at it. I don't think it's going to do very well. I don't think. I mean,
they got people shaking their head no, like, I'm not going to get that, and then move on, basically.
Right. Man. But I mean, so I guess to answer your question, first and foremost, is I think outstanding on the marketing campaign. Outstanding. As far as coming out and having that, it's irrelevant, right? I mean, no, I don't think anyone really cares. Plus, is it really that small? Is it really the size of your palm?
Dude, it's really that small. I was going to ask
you. You can't even play it because, I mean, you need to have
I was thinking.
I mean, the Sega Genesis alone had 3 buttons on it, okay? So, I mean, how are you even getting 3 buttons on that damn thing?
Dude,
but
the screen is the size of your thumbnail. Look at your thumbnail, and that's the goddamn screen.
Yeah, so what is it? I mean, it's right? I mean, it's smaller than those Pokemon things that were on people's keychains.
Tamagotchis.
I mean, yes, what's going on? So I don't know. I think it's just a ploy to. I mean, they're trying to do a quick money grab. It doesn't really cost them a lot. Let's be honest, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to cost them a lot. And if it did catch fire, they could make money on. I think it's just a big gimmicky thing, and I'm glad that we found out what it was, and we're moving on.
Now, Mooch, one thing I will ask, because I believe Sega did say it's like their 50th or 60th anniversary. 60th anniversary. Do you think
Yes.
that this is possibly one announcement in a line of announcements? Because when we hear Sega,
Absolutely.
like I'm thinking, games that could be brought up to speed, developed today. Like, can you imagine like a new Golden Axe, like really going in on kind of like the environment and stuff like that?
Yes.
Do you think this is just the beginning announcement, and do you think there might be kind of like game announcements in the future?
Yeah, and that's where I was just going to go with this. I didn't know you were going to do a follow-up question. I was saying the only thing I can think of is it's one in a long string of events that will be leading us down the path to maybe something we actually do want from Sega, right? So I think that it could cherry blossom into something like that. But as of right now, I mean, it's just it's a no-brainer that it's already dead in the water. But yes, I do feel that with the amount of attraction and attention they tried to seek in the past 2 weeks, that we may be seeing a series of small announcements leading up to something that we actually give a shit about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, was the pun intended for the small announcement? That's all I want to know. Did you use that?
Somewhat.
Yeah, okay.
Somewhat. Because it's not even small, it's micro.
It's micro.
Micro announcements.
Micro announcements. There we
Right?
go.
Right.
All right, so let's go to SupaNova here, dude. I'm pretty sure you got your finger on the pulse of the community. You know when it comes to dude bros on either side. I'm pretty sure you saw the hype leading up to Sega's announcement. So what do you think about the hype that led up to that, and then what Sega actually showed? Are you gonna try to get one of these? Because they're only in Japan right now. They haven't said anything about releasing in the United States. Is this something that you might look to buy, man?
You'd have to be insane if you went out of your way to import this thing. Like, what are you gonna do with it?
Collectors, man.
Oh, I guess, but like when I heard the news, like when they were hyping it up, there was all this news like, they're going to partner with Microsoft, like you said, to brand the Xbox as the Sega Xbox because they have almost no sales in Japan. Like, they just don't care about Xbox there. And then I heard sort of, maybe they partnered with PlayStation because it's coming out around the time of the PS5 event. And I didn't think it was going to be either of those things. I wasn't sure what it would be, but then when they announced it, I wasn't even sure if that was the actual announcement, because I was like, there's no way this can be it. They were saying it was going to be something on the same level as a PlayStation 5 reveal. And I was like, there's no way that this is that thing. And I don't know. Like, yeah, I think it's ridiculous. And yeah, like Mooch was saying about like the Nintendo Mini or the Sega Mini or whatever that you have, at least those you can play them on your TV screen, and it's more than one game that you recognize. On these Game Gear games, it's like it has the Sonic game I played, and I have no idea what the other games are.
Dude, where's Echo the Dolphin? Do they have Echo the Dolphin? Do you know?
For Game Gear, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know that many people that had. Like, I had a Game Gear, but I didn't know anybody else who really had a Game Gear. And then these guys have the balls. These guys have the balls.
I had one too.
If you buy
So
like
did
a
I.
4-pack, they'll give you a magnifying screen.
Got its own magnifying glass, bro. I mean, come on, that's great.
Like the balls on these guys. Yeah, give us $250. We'll give you all 4 of them and a magnifying screen.
Did
You're
they mention
welcome,
price?
guys.
Did they mention price on these 4?
It's $50 a piece, and I think $250 or $200 for all 4, whatever it is, and then you get the magnifying screen.
Yeah.
But why?
But why?
Yeah, I don't know who this is for. Actually, that's the thing. I don't.
It's for the Japanese consumer, I guess.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of.
In Japan, it makes sense because they buy all kinds of weird shit. They buy anything, but I don't see it coming over here or being big over here or anybody over here really caring outside the hardcore collectors because, like I said, it's so niche and dumb that I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I was actually kind of pissed off it was the announcement.
Well, Supa, I got one more question, but first I have to say, I knew this episode was going to be historic, but I gotta say, welcome to the newest member of this channel, Lady Foxfire. It is now a momentous episode. There's not even words to describe like how happy I am right now. Lady, welcome to the channel as a member. You have a bunch of what do you call them, emojis, I guess, that you can use in the chat. Feel free. Absolutely awesome. Now, Supa, one thing, you heard me and Mooch talk about it. Do you think this might be the beginning of more announcements since it's like an anniversary year, because like when I heard Sega and big announcements, the first thing I thought of, and I think the first thing a lot of other gamers thought of, was bringing games back, doing kind of like either reboots or sequels, but bringing some of those classic games kind of like up to today's standards. Do you think that there's going to be more announcements on the way, or do you think this is the big announcement that everybody was talking about before?
Honestly, if I had to guess, I would say that's it. Because if they were going to have any other big announcements right now after that, nobody's going to give a shit what they're going to say after this. If they're going to say, "Oh, we have another big announcement," nobody's going to care anymore at this point because the first one was so lame. So I don't know if they're going to have any more announcements after this. They may, but even so, like they're going to bring back Golden Axe. Okay, like how are they going to do that? And are they going to do it like the new Streets of Rage? Because they're pretty much the same game, just different skins on them. So I mean, I don't know. Possibly, there's a lot of games in the Sega catalog that could be rebooted and be awesome, but I don't think that that's what's happening here. I think that I don't know what the hell they're doing, but honestly.
Basically, this is what you got. The big announcement was a Game Gear Micro. Actually, well, 4 different ones with 4 different games on each. Buy them all, and you get a magnifying glass. Beautiful.
Exactly. Like maybe they'll have more, but for right now, I'm saying I think this is it.
Nice. Let's get my West Coast brother in here, Mr. Optimus, aka Angry Otter, aka Goldblum. Dude, what do you think?
AKA.
Yeah, you're getting a list. It's growing, brother. It's growing. But what do you think about the hype before time? People going in, like even saying Sega will brand the Series X. That was one thing I saw a lot of hype for it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I don't think that would work at all. But what do you think about the hype before time? And then what do you think about Sega's huge announcement? The Game Gear Micro.
Well, I think beforehand, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of cool that they're going to announce something. I didn't think it had anything to do with the Series X or anything like that. I just thought maybe it was probably something that I thought it was going to be like a game, or something like that, or like several games that are in the works for them. And then they surprised us with this micro Game Gear. I was like, okay.
Are you interested in it, Dark?
No, not at all, dude.
I can't tell with your gaming taste. I don't know.
I never got into the Game Gear. Like I was a Sega Genesis kid, but then like Nintendo 64 came out, and that's when I got into Nintendo. And
I thought you were gonna say you're a Genesis kid, but you had a Game Boy. I'm like,
no. I was a Genesis kid. I mean, I had the Nintendo Entertainment System, and then I got a Genesis, and then I went back to Nintendo, and then it was Xbox, and then PlayStation and stuff like that. So it was just like for me, like I've never really been like too hyped on things like that, because I know if I do, then I'll get disappointed, and they for sure disappointed me this time. They disappointed me, and I wasn't even hyped for it. That's the problem, and it's like they had a perfect opportunity to make this thing be this grandiose announcement, and it fell to the wayside because everyone was just like, oh, it's that? Okay, never mind.
Okay, never mind. That was the biggest response to that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, all right. Well, I guess maybe they'll announce a game or something like that. And for me, it was like, well, if they're going to announce any games, it's probably going to come to, Nintendo, because they've had a long relationship with them anyways. And so I think them working with Microsoft on this project, that just doesn't even make any sense. Like I don't know why they would waste this big beautiful opportunity to work with Microsoft and well, this opportunity to work with Xbox, I should say, because I know that they're
Didn't you watch
they're two
Supa's video?
They're two different
Microsoft
entities.
and Xbox are different. Okay.
They are different. He's right. They are different. So, but they did squander this big opportunity that they had to, give us something that was completely we weren't expecting. I mean, we weren't expecting this, but this is definitely not mind blowing. And
Dude, so you don't think
I saw a lot of people who were like, "Oh, it's gonna be like the next Dreamcast," and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's probably not gonna
don't
happen."
do that to me, brother. Don't do that to me. So you don't think there's other announcements like down the road here when it comes to the 60th anniversary or anything?
If there is, they better not do it like how they did it with this Game Gear. They definitely are gonna have to
direct port over Golden Axe.
They're definitely gonna have to dial down the hype per se with their tweets, because that was just not.
But it was the journalists that really hyped it up more than anything. It wasn't even Sega.
Yeah, that's
really.
probably true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. So I mean, the journalists. It seems like the journalists nowadays are like trying to hype up anything that they could possibly hype up.
Get those clicks, brother.
Just so then they can have something to say, or to have something to talk about.
If you watch any of the major shows too, Goldblum, it doesn't matter if you like to watch IGN. It doesn't matter. The minute a lot of these that have their own podcast with which are part of the channel, they'll say, "Well, news is slow this week." They'll say that, and then they'll get into hypotheticals. Which don't get me wrong. I say it all the time. You have to have hypotheticals a lot for podcasting of any kind because it's a talk show, right? You can't just not have a conversation piece. So I'm all for that. But it does seem like that. And to add a little bit more to it while I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Supa and I'm listening to Dark Goldblum kind of get into their whole thing. My thing is this, with leaks and insiders and people in the know and nobody keeping a secret worth of shit these days, there's no way Sega's coming out with a console Xbox. I think in this case, the best you could imagine if there is something coming down the road is a revitalization of an IP, right? Absolutely.
That's all I want, games, man.
And that's fine. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. We don't need another box, and I understand you guys. I'm not going into a Stadia rant. But what I'm saying to you is that, right? Everybody was like, "Oh, I was disappointed Stadia wasn't another console." Another console?
Yeah, nobody wants another
console. We've got Switch, we've got PlayStation, you've got Xbox. That's enough.
That's plenty.
Right? Whether you like Stadia or not, that's irrelevant. That's not the conversation I'm going down. All I'm saying is they provided a service that's something different. Okay, it's something different. You might say it's ridiculous. It doesn't work for me. It's awful. Fine. That's fine. But at least it's something different. If Google had another box, are you telling me that this fall you're going to plunk down $500 for the PS5, $500 for the Xbox Series X, $500 for Google's, and then Nintendo's going to have a new Pro coming out next year? Get out of here. And it's all redundant third-party games. So it's not right. You can only play your third-party games on one console at a time. So, none of these games are, exclusives are not coming out left and right. With the
Xbox adaptive controller, you might be able to play multi-platforms on the PlayStation using your hands, and you can use the adaptive controller for multi-plats on Xbox. I don't know, but I definitely see where you're going with that, brother.
Yeah, we don't need another box. That's for damn sure.
No.
No, we got plenty of options.
See, you're opening up. Yeah, I'm not taking the bait, Mooch. I'm not taking
I know,
the Stadia bait right now, brother.
Stadia!
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I am moving on to Predator real quick. Pred, when it comes down to it, I'm pretty sure you saw the hype. People coming up with all sorts of ideas when it comes to Sega. Either throwing it. I saw a lot more people throwing in Xbox when it comes to Sega than PlayStation. There were a couple people talking about PlayStation as well. But you see the hype, and then Sega announces the Game Gear Micro. Dude, what do you think about the hype leading up to it? And what do you think about this little, as I saw in the chat, Keyring Gaming piece of hardware, man? Pret, are you muted?
No, I wasn't.
He was muted. I heard the button. You were muted, bro.
Check your Twitter DM for Knox.
Okay.
Well, I'll answer this question. So the hype, man, some bullshit, man. I sat on GRG podcast with those guys and we discussed some of this stuff too. We were talking about all the if, ands, and possibilities and shit. We went from the far left to the far fucking right, and none of that shit was true. So and this is a time, and I said this in the podcast too. Like this is a time of the year where, we start hearing these. Like typically E3 would be happening right now, right? So like you start hearing these leaks and these rumors and all this. Ifs, us, buts and shit like that, and like when I saw that initially, I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like I need to see more information. Like if it happens, it happens. But at this point, I just didn't, I didn't believe it. But I still play with the ideal. Like okay, let's say this is true. All right, what would Microsoft be doing with Sega right now? Would they be making you go through all these. The thought process in your head, like what makes sense, what doesn't. So like, okay, are they going to make a handheld? No, because we're kind of doing streaming. At least that's their aspect of it. So you don't need a handheld console to do streaming if you can do it from your phone or your laptop. So that doesn't make any sense. Are they buying the company? And I started thinking about the games that have come out recently from Sega. Like I get Yakuza's coming out. I think they have Phantasy Star Online. They have some other stuff going on like Sonic and stuff like that. But like, are those franchises worth buying from Sega?
Sonic Team
Wasn't
said
there other
that they're
news
finally
about like networking.
Yeah, there were others.
arcades?
I'm just throwing out the first three that came.
Well, Sonic Team. The funny thing is, Sonic Team came out and said that they are finally gonna take more time on like Sonic the Hedgehog games, put more kind of like work into those games and stuff. So I thought like everything was kind of matching up in terms of Sega announcing game-specific things. You know what I'm saying? And I was really disappointed with what they
I think
announced.
what everyone got caught up in was they threw Microsoft, right? And
that was pretty big. Yeah,
I sent the link out a couple of days back before all this shit happened. About them talking about the Microsoft Sega merger or acquisition, something like that too. Because it was discussed back in like March. Maybe earlier than that, but like it never happened. So like
it never happened.
So when you think about what the fuck this actually did happen, like I don't blame anybody for being let down. Like you have this hype level, and again, like we've done this to ourselves. We did it last year. We did it the year before last. We have this hype level because we see these announcements, we see these rumors, and then when the announcement actually comes out, we're like, what the fuck was that? I think. I thought
Sega announced something about that they're like fog network.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
But do we really need that right now? Like,
no, it's got nothing to do with us. That's the point. Like,
right? But was the micro Game Gear the big news, or was this fog gaming?
It was the fog gaming. I'm telling you, that's the big news. That was the big news because this is Famitsu. Famitsu's the one that actually, was the one that said everything, and apparently in Japan, arcades are very big still, and they're going to use.
Should be.
Hey, Crispy, you get your chance.
Oh damn!
Everybody cuts me off every time we do a podcast. I gotta cut y'all back off.
Sorry, man.
I'll be done in like 2 seconds. That announcement was bullshit.
That's what she said.
She was right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll let Crispy go here. But like, I thought that whole announcement was bullshit. I thought like how they came out and they hyped it. Like when Microsoft came out last month and they discussed their show, right? Like, even though they said you're not gonna get this, you're not gonna get that, we overhyped it ourselves. Like we did that. Like that was on us. Like we thought other things were gonna happen, but they said no. This is gonna be third party. It's gonna be that. Like we did that to ourselves. This guy came out and said, "This is a huge announcement. This is going to be awesome," and so like we all fed into that, right?
Well, he was pumping up his own work. Let's be real here. Like,
yeah, and so we're like, oh fuck, man, we're waking up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning to see what the fuck's going on in Japan. Like, it came out to be some bullshit. Like, who the fuck is? And the thing is, this is a really fucked up part of it. It's not even going to get released here. Like we're not going to see this motherfucker, and if we do, no one's going to buy it. Like, what was the last little mini fucking bullshit console that came out? No one bought. Was that?
That was PlayStation.
The PlayStation. They had like
But their offerings were really bad for that. And if you look at that era where 3D gaming like first really started coming into its own, it's not a pretty era to go back to, man.
Well, here's the fucked up part.
Radio check.
So, like,
radio check.
Yo, radio. I stole your radio from your car. It is here in my apartment.
Here's the most fucked up part about this.
I read you 5x5 unit. Read you 5x5. Thank you. My bad, Pat. I didn't mean to.
God damn it! Everybody cuss me off.
It's not just me.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you finish.
Crispy. So, like, here's the really fucked up part about it. It's $250 for all of these.
But you get the magnifying glass, bro.
Magnifying glass, man.
Like, this shit shouldn't be they could have put this all in one fucking thing and made it $100.
And increased the size by like 3 times.
Yeah, that too. And gave the magnifying glass.
How about just some regular Game Gear? How about that?
Yeah. I really thought, dude, I ain't gonna lie to you, I really thought we're gonna get a fucking handheld because there's nobody else in that space right now except Nintendo. And I thought that'd be a perfect market.
Do you really want to challenge Nintendo right now? Even the Switch is a handheld, man. I don't know.
Nope.
Like no one wants to. But that's the thing.
Vita was amazing, and it still didn't do well.
Yeah, but the thing is, no one's in that space right now. So, like Mooch said, like, who the fuck wants another fucking console right now? If you're gonna put something out there, it needs to be a fucking handheld.
Yeah,
because in my mind, I was thinking, okay, maybe Amazon or Google bought them. I wasn't even thinking Microsoft. I was like, okay, this would be great for Amazon, Google to pick them up and make a handheld.
Good point, Brad.
And do like that's what I was thinking. That's where I was going to go. But like the shit they came out with, man, like my phone is bigger than the shit they got coming out. I would never play on my phone, and I damn sure would not play on this bullshit.
Your
old ass game.
Thumb drive for your computer is bigger than what they're coming out with right now. But
K-Mega's cock is bigger than this.
Oh!
Ooh.
Shout out to K-Mega, by the way. Yo, he is out there. He was out there doing the Lord's work, man. You know,
he's out there being the only guy at the Bukkake. So
oh wow! But
I love him.
Shout out to our brother K-Mega.
Oh shit!
Yo, I also want to give a huge shout out to another member of the Next Podcast family. Our brother Knoxximus is here. What is up, bro?
Oh man, ain't nothing, my brother. I tried to get in early. Windows, took a dump all over me like it always does. Shout out to good old Microsoft on that front. Right? Wink, wink. But in all seriousness, I had to do some. I don't know if they're forced. I don't know what the hell's going on. It took like about 20 minutes almost to do it. Then I'm thinking, all right, cool. I'm gonna get the link. Then the link ain't. Then I'm like, oh shit. Then I read through the whole thing and I see what's going on. And I'm like, all right, let me reach out to the guys. But yeah, man. I mean,
everything good. It's good to have you back, bro.
Man. I know my Mega. I know I could feel Mega. Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Shout out to everyone. But
he's got to be absolutely exhausted. You know what I'm saying? Out there doing that work, yo.
My man. I've been. It hasn't stopped for me. Not only am I on the front line, and I'm not even trying to whatever, but it's also happening in my neighborhood. Like this shit is very close to me. It's right here. Like I mean, I'm right there with all the looting on Fordham Road in the Bronx, of course, in New York and all that. I'm like right there, and it's sad to see. I don't even want to get into that here. I think that we need some good news and some positivity in the light of all this.
That's pretty much why when it came down to it, I definitely saw there was a lot of, there was other people like kind of stopping their show and everything. I'm like, I think people can use 2 hours of entertainment right now,
we kind of discussed this earlier to kind of not get into that shit.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone should stop any of this good stuff that takes your mind off it. We don't want to keep putting that negative energy out there. This stuff will consume you. It will consume you. You get caught up. You become indoctrinated. The media is pounding it into your head, and then social media outlets are also attempting to pound it into your head, and they never show both sides of the coin. It's always the negative side. So we do need these, podcasts like this one to alleviate this situation at this time. So I think this is a good thing, and
de-stressing.
Absolutely.
Well, you are definitely going to be here to help with that today, and I definitely appreciate it, brother. We do have to go to Crispy real quick before I'm not gonna I'm not gonna push him off to the side the way Predator did. And it's like, yo, you gotta wait for me to finish, man.
By all means.
Well, we are talking about the Sega announcement, the hype leading up to it, and then what they actually announced. So, Crispy, what do you think about this whole situation when it comes to the hype and people really, really going out there in left field and trying to pull in some possibilities, and then what Sega actually announced? What are your opinions, brother?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. You could take that Game Gear Micro and throw that shit in the bushes, bro. Like, I'm not with that. Like that's all. Like, this is the thing that people don't realize. Like, Famitsu is a Japanese journalist. Like, it's more for Japan than anywhere else, or at least, you know, the Asian market.
Revolutionary, brother.
Well, and that's not the revolutionary thing, because it actually technically came out on June 3rd, and their announcement was June 4th, which was the Fog Gaming, okay, which is the actual announcement, which they screwed up. They should have just put it out there first, but that for apparently in Japan, they still do a lot of arcade stuff. So I don't know all the logistics about that, but basically the Fog Gaming thing is they're taking their cabinets, because they still make arcade machines, because they have so much room in them. Apparently they're going to turn them into servers. Okay. And Fog Gaming is basically a cloud gaming service that you're going to be able to leave the arcade when it shuts down and still play the game if you've paid for it. I don't know how it works, you know, because I don't know how they do it. You know, we're all used to the quarters and all that nostalgia, but obviously they do it.
Bitcoin,
yeah.
Man.
So they're gonna use that. They're gonna make server farms, from what I read, and they're gonna be in the arcades. So I think that was the announcement for the Japan market or Asian market.
That definitely sounds bigger than Game Gear Micro.
Yeah, like I said,
get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, and maybe they're even having like little microtransactions in there or something like that, so you can continue playing. I don't know. You know, personally, I read enough to say, okay, that's actually interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're basically creating your own server farms, which, you know, maybe down the road could actually mean something, at least in the Asian market, because obviously arcades are almost dead here. I mean, I think we can all admit that. I mean,
we need a revival, man. Come on.
You know, and well, usually Asia's always ahead of us, at least in Japan, South Korea. So you never know. All of a sudden, it comes back.
Busters now, and the arcade games are just iPhone games on giant screens.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Yeah, we need real game. Like, you know, a lot of these kids haven't played these old games, or, you know, at least remastered old games, and they might enjoy it in that type of setting. And like, even when I only went to Dave & Buster's once, and I was disappointed, to be honest with you. It was more about the tickets.
I'm pretty sure you got drunk there too.
No, I didn't get drunk. I was around the girl's family, bro. I couldn't do that.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I caught a little buzz, but I mean, come on.
One of the things Crispy's saying, and I think he's got goodwill and good intentions in what he's saying. I agree with you, Crispy. I always thought that originally. What I found with the time and time again, and me and Xbot always go back and forth with this, and I'll actually say the same thing that I said to Xbot, I'll say to myself. Okay, very small census group, just people I know in my family and people surrounding me.
Oh no,
but the youth. No, seriously, like this game that you have up right now, right on the screen here. And what is it? Streets of Rage 4? I don't even know what this is right now. But, right. So this game that we all grew up playing, I grew up playing Streets of Rage. Okay, like that was such an amazing game for me, in air quotes, at that time.
Yeah.
Okay? The kids today do not want to play a lot of the games that are at Dave & Buster's. A lot of the games that we just saw, like Streets of Rage, they don't care about these games. They go, oh, that's neat. Oh, that's cool. I don't mind. They'll play it for like 5 minutes. Yeah, and then they're back to some sort of battle royale, or they're on some sort of multiplayer game that involves all their friends. To them, couch co-op, the static screen of 2D fighting, it doesn't do it for them. It just doesn't. Why? I don't know. You have to look at it this way.
They don't know about it, Mooch. They didn't grow up with it.
No, listen, I'll tell you the truth. It's like when we were kids. Remember when we were all kids, and then someone was like, you got to watch this great movie, right? And then it was like a black and white movie, right? And it was like, it wasn't in color. And it was like, okay, that movie's not, we were like, oh, Dad, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch something like Back to the Future. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like, they see these Streets of Rage games and they see these things. It's like, it's not the same for them. Like, they're not interested in what we used to play. We think they are. They're like, well, we need to let gamers that are growing up today experience what we experienced. We didn't want to experience the movies our parents watched. Okay, maybe now you have an appreciation for them, but who's going home tonight after the show and watching Gone with the Wind?
Nobody.
I think that, yeah,
Nobody.
but I think the kids. I think
it is
the
a
kids,
classic, bro.
the kids
Absolutely,
do
but
enjoy.
it belongs on the shelf with the classics. You know what I mean?
It becomes refined.
Kids do enjoy the movies that we grew up on, though, too. You know, like I've actually, you know, my nephew and stuff, he watches a lot of the stuff that I used to watch, like when I was a kid, like Back to the Future and stuff like that. So they
Back
still
to the Future is a timeless classic.
Right, exactly.
Back to the Future's a bad example,
those
right?
are timeless classics.
Okay.
So that's why it was a bad
but
example.
try to get him to sit down and watch Howard the Duck. Ain't happening.
Right, yeah, it's not
Howard
gonna
the
happen.
Duck.
Come on, Mooch.
No, listen, I didn't mind it, right?
Hey, I liked Howard the Duck, man.
I got my children to watch the Goonies.
Well, they
loved it.
You see Disney,
Goonies
Disney,
again
you know,
is like Crispy said, but Goonies is like an iconic movie, right? Like that's a movie that, right? But when you go to look at the other like thousands of movies between Back to the Future and the Goonies, and like there's a lot of stuff that we enjoyed. Like try to get your kid to enjoy Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Not happening, fellas.
I'm pretty sure I could get the twins into
but I thought it was great.
Guys, let me hit the super chat real quick because they are piling up right now. Shout out to my brother Lucifer with the $6.66. Dude, I don't know where you got that number from, Lucifer. Yo, shout out to you. Yo, thank you for the support. He says we need another console, like we need more Xbox gameplay video.
Oh.
K Mega rules. Mooch, you the man. Yo, shout out to you, Lucifer. 108 Dragons, hit up that super chat. Thank you for the support, brother. He says, I told the world on GRG Microsoft wasn't buying Sega. All fake news and no one believed me. Sega not for sale. Down goes Frazier. Enjoy your Game Gear Mini. Brother, it is micro. All right? Just put it out there, yo. Sir
X-Man. Bushes, baby. Bushes. Throw it in there. Let's
Sir
go.
X-Man hitting up that super chat, and he says, Battle Fraud! Is exactly what he said. With laughing
Where
at the
is
end.
that damn game bot? What the hell's going on?
Dude, I'm not making the game. I can't tell you, all right? Hold on. Catching up here. Shout out to Marty Bison. Good to see you in the chat, brother. Supporting the channel. Streets of Rage 4 was amazing. I agree with you, bro. It's a really, really good game. Sir
Marty was on a lot of drinks when he played that. Shout out to Marty.
Shout out to Sir X-Man one more time. My golfing brother right here. He says, I got my kids to love Casablanca. Really?
Yeah,
really?
He didn't mention the $20 bribe to get there.
Bot.
That's right. Yeah,
you missed one, bot.
If you got it, please share.
Yeah, I got
it.
Man. Lake C gave you 229 euros. He said, or
I feel fancy right now, bro.
I thought Sega thing was the cloud. There was their cloud for arcade.
Yeah, and that's exactly caught me mid vape right there. That is exactly what Crispy was talking about. And the having the arcades be kind of like server farms for you to continue playing the game after you left. Really cool idea. But they definitely didn't. The biggest thing that was pulled, at least in the United States, was the Game Gear Micro. Nobody's really talking about that whole arcade thing, man. So,
no. Yo, real quick, guys, because
no one's really talking about either one of those, but.
Like I came in late, so I don't know the deal with this whole micro whatever. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I've been like working 16 sleeping, so I really don't know what's popping except for the Destiny joint.
And why are you here, Knox?
Don't even worry about it, Knox. You didn't miss nothing.
What I'm saying, what's going on with this game? Because to me, I thought like Sega and Microsoft forming an alliance with Microsoft's obvious intention of forwarding Game Pass and making that their primary focus on a handheld console. They could actually compete with Nintendo as they'll be offering the same caliber of games. You know what I mean? Like old 360 joints, old Xbox, Xbox One shits that are better looking than like, Wii U or Switch games. Let's be honest, in a portable format, that could give them some competition, and then we put Game Pass on it, sprinkle shit in. That would have been dope. And then put some Sega exclusivity on it and relaunch it. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Was there? I guess it was not that, and it was some yet again disappointing nonsense.
The media hyped it up quite a bit. They kind of made it seem like this was going to be the biggest announcement since sliced bread.
The journalist who was writing the article hyped it up like it's the next great thing.
And he is a Japanese journalist. I'm just saying, like, they have different thought process than we do. I'm just throwing it out there.
But it had potential to be a really challenging thing to the king, which is Nintendo. Has potential to do it. Better than buying the world's most powerful console to play that shit. I'd rather buy the world's most powerful handheld than play that shit. I mean, if I'm gonna approach it through that avenue, like, to me, it's more, that would be the more consumer that it would be catered to. Like, I don't want to buy a Series X for Game Pass emphasis and backwards compatibility emphasis. I want that to emphasize the greater games that are coming out, the future of gaming, moving it forward.
We got other topics for that. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I'll shut up now then.
Real quick, I'm going to hit up the super chat one more time. You guys are doing absolute insanity on the super chat. One Away Dragons hit up the super chat. He said, mini or micro, it still equals no purchase from me. Yo, Marty Bison hitting up the super chat one more time, showing support is what I do. And
yes, he does.
Marty, we definitely appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Sir X-Man, one more time in the super chat says Dreamcast games look better than Nintendo Switch.
Sir X-Man.
Come on, man. Come on.
Dreamcast. But you guys, man. But here's the thing. You guys got to remember, Sir X-Man is pretty old guy.
No, Sir X-Man. Yo, the Dreamcast is still my number one, my favorite console. But I can't say that, man. What they've done with the Switch on that screen and the games that it can run, like Witcher and Doom and stuff like that.
The Switch does its thing.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like, nobody.
I don't know, Outer Worlds look like crap on that.
Nobody would think like Doom Eternal would run on that, or Mortal Kombat 11, and it runs on it, man. Yo, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Our brother Enrique hitting up that super chat. He says, "Woo! Shout out to Knox and Mooch. Mooch. Warzone is awaiting.
Shout out to Brap.
We need a win. Big shout out to Marty Bison. Skip 2020. Brother. Yo, thank you for supporting the channel, brother. Definitely appreciate it. Guys, we will get into our next subject, and this is definitely a meatier topic because, we're hearing all these different specs and stuff when it comes to the next generation consoles, and I see a lot of people are hyped, for the PS5, the Series X to come out. One thing I don't see a lot of people asking is main concerns for each of these consoles, because when it comes down to it, I do have a question or two when it comes to the Series X. I do have a question or two when it comes to the PlayStation 5, and since I'm bringing it to the chat, I think we're going to start with the PlayStation 5 first. So, Knox came in late. Dude, you are going to get this first. Brother.
Let's get it.
Next generation is right around the corner. And as you can see, we get more information about, the consoles as we're getting closer to launch. What, in your opinion, what is your biggest concern when it comes to the PlayStation 5? And we'll cover Series X after, me, you, rest of the panel, we talk about the PS5. But what would be your biggest concern when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and why? And people can chime in. This is a lively part of the show right now.
Listen, I'm going to keep it above like I always do because I keep it 100. That's the way that Knoxximus gets down. Now, everybody knows how I feel about PlayStation's networking card and how I feel about their exhaust system in general. Since the PS3, it's been horrendous. I mean, the shit sounding like a turbine. And this is hardware wise, right? These are my concerns hardware wise that they need to address that are absolutely inexcusable to me if they launch this generation with the PS5 going
about to take off.
That shit is unacceptable. We can't have that. And not being able to get on a 5G network and only signing on to 2.4 or not taking advantage of my full capacity.
Hold on, the PS4 doesn't, you can't hook it up to a 5G Wi-Fi signal?
I think you probably can, but
you can.
You can't, but it gimps it though. Like for instance, I get, and it doesn't matter. I can open the ports. I've opened the ports on my router. I've done everything that I have to do. It does not switch from type 2, NAT settings type 2, which implies, because
Moderate.
It doesn't really it implies it, but it doesn't define it as such. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the data cap, right? I mean, that's basically what's happening.
Yeah, it's capping it somehow, but it doesn't imply it. It calls it type 2. It does its own variation of it. It's just hiding it. Shit like that. Yeah, it is. And shit like that is unacceptable to me. You can't have that going forward.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I will throw in my 2 cents on this as we're talking about it. You know, when it comes down to it, we have, new technology, definitely more powerful consoles coming this year, and I am really excited for it. One thing I will say, one of my biggest concerns is, like, I've seen Sony try to rewrite game development script before, and that was the cell processor. So when it comes to the PS5, my biggest concern will be in terms of heat distribution when it comes to this machine. And if we get a chance to talk about it, I put in our extra topics the patent for the dev kit. Now, the way that dev kit is situated, you saw 6 fans, stuff like that, and that's for a dev kit. So when it comes down to it, they have to kind of polish things off and make it look better in terms of, the consumer, what they're going to put out on the shelf. So my biggest concern in that regard when it comes to the PS5 would be how well it distributes heat, and if there is going to be any type of overheating situations.
But that's the same thing I'm talking about the exhaust system, Bob. That's exactly what I'm saying. That I said it
more eloquently.
Oh, you absolutely did. You painted it. You Van Gogh'd it. You Van Gogh'd it. You Van Gogh'd it.
It's Van Gogh.
Oh my goodness!
You say tomato, I say tomato. I just tattooed all over the train. I just went and spray canned all over the train, ozone style from breaking.
He wasn't even making cool
Mark
design.
Cerny went out of the way
the train.
to mention that they were going to be working on noise reduction and cooling. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it because, like I said, Mark Cerny made it a point to say, "Hey, we're really focusing on noise reduction for the cooling system, the cooling system itself."
Yeah, that was one of the things I got to say. I don't get me wrong, Knox and Xbox make a valid point, but Supa makes a point to counter that. That was brought up. That here's the thing, they're addressing
reduction and elimination are 2 different things. I don't like the wordplay. I don't like the double speak. Reduction means it's going to be noisy, just not as much, and that's how we've got to see these things, guys. It's just that way.
Yeah.
Stop putting the shroud over your own eyes. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that to yourselves, guys. We're the consumers here. They got to give us everything because we give them our money for it. So
right, well,
demand it.
Well, Supa, what is your biggest concern when it comes to PlayStation, the PS5, and why, bro?
Honestly, my answer is going to be pretty boring. Like, when I'm looking at these next-gen machines, I'm not really too concerned about the tech or the specs or the features. I'm just buying them because that's going to be where the games I want. So I really don't have any concerns about the next-gen consoles. As long as they give me the gaming experiences that I want, I'm happy. So I guess the only concern that I have is when I invest whatever it is, $500, $600 into the machines, is my investment going to be worth it? That's my only concern.
All right. So in other words, you're definitely waiting to hear about launch lineup, games coming down after launch lineup. That's your main focus more than anything else, right?
Right. Just is it going to be worth it when I put down my money? Am I getting what my money's worth?
What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Hey, dude, why? You got something to sell him? What are you looking for? I got it right here, man.
You can't say I want my money's worth without saying what you're looking for, because Microsoft is telling you what they're gonna give you, and let's make no mistake about it. That they're baking in backwards compatibility and scaling it up effortlessly for developers. So hey, just bring your old shit here. It's gonna be great. It's gonna run as it should have run back then, and even better in some cases.
That's the second part of this topic. Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't see the topic. I'm just coming off the cuff, guys.
We're just doing the PlayStation first. We'll get to that next.
God damn it.
Yo,
Fred's fault for not giving you the topics, damn it.
I'll shut up again, goddamn.
yo,
fucking Windows. It's Windows' fault.
It's Windows. Just blame Windows for everything, yo.
I'll blame fucking Windows and Bill Gates for everything.
It's Windows Vista, actually. It's Windows Vista's fault over anything else.
Millennium Edition.
Predator, let's go to you, man. What do you think, yo? Biggest concern when it comes to the PlayStation 5, and why? You know, if you read the topics, you would have had this right off. You would have.
No, because I don't want to. I'm trying to pick something that someone else is not going to pick, so we can kind of get a bigger umbrella of information. But because I'm expecting some people to say some other things. If they don't, I'll chime in later. But so. Right off the cuff, I'll say the original launch lineup for me. I know they got some games in the works. I know they're gonna. This is what PlayStation has done in the past. Like they'll come out, even though they didn't have their show this week, which would have been great, and it made this topic a little bit better. But they typically come out with a lot of games. They come out with no release dates. They show us a lot of fluff. And then they push everything back. Every exclusive they've had this generation, they've pushed back. Whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, don't matter. Like they pushed them back.
I'll give you at least like 90% of them have been pushed back to some extent. Yeah.
So like let's say they show the console like they were going to this. If assuming they were going to this week, right? They show us the console. They show us all these great, amazing games, right? And then. No release date. And the release dates that we do get end up getting pushed back. So you're saying this $500 console, even though I know what their stance is going forward with their games, their console is going to come out with remasters and backup packs like they did last year.
And second party deals like Godfall and
and the games that are going to get released probably around the same time. You know, like in a year, maybe 3 months, whatever. But I don't like that they kind of mask that. I understand the business aspect of it. They want you to think it's only going to be on that console, and then you buy the console for those games. Next thing you know, oh wait, they're on Xbox too. But they're
dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, they definitely did that quite a few times. Man.
Yeah. The original launch lineup typically, isn't very, very good. At least in the beginning of this generation, wasn't all that. It didn't make me buy the console, let's put it that way. I think Microsoft
their main thing for the launch of the PS4 was Killzone Shadowfall. That was their main kind of like first party.
Yeah, and I know they got Turismo. I know we've heard that. We've heard Godfall. We've heard they're going to come out with they
got to deal with Quantum Error.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about that initial launch lineup. Like, am I going to be sitting here holding this console for one game until they decide to release these other ones? Because I know most of this stuff's going to be multi-plat anyway, right? I mean, you know, Call of Duty, the normal shit we get on any other console. But as far as exclusives come, like, what exclusives they launch to it? Because that's why I bought my PlayStation. I bought my PlayStation for their exclusives. I didn't buy it for multi-plats. I got a PC. I got a fucking Xbox for that. It's going to run everything significantly, supposedly, better because it's got more T-flops. Woo!
More
so like
12 T-flops, yo.
Yeah, so like I would assume that my Xbox...
We got one.
Did he say it?
Yes, he did. That's it.
I would assume that my Xbox is going to run things better than my PlayStation 5, but I don't know because I haven't seen the console. but the SSD ain't gonna make that big a difference to me. But that original launch lineup, if they can bring that thunder, and it's not just God of War remastered, or the Order 1886 remastered, like shit like
It'll
that.
Be 1887 now.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Like, I mean, I've seen those games. I've played them, some of them. Like, I don't want to do that again. It's been another $60 for that. So, like, give me the new, fresh shit that I'm only gonna get on your console. Give me a decent, exclusive launch lineup from the jump, because that's what you're built for. That's what people gravitate to your console for. Your exclusive launch lineup, your exclusives, not launch lineup, but your exclusive games. Give me those exclusive games, at least 2 of them. You know
what's funny about this, Pred? It sounds like you and SupaNova, you're kind of in the same ballpark, but you're looking for kind of like the more immediate satisfaction, where I feel like Supa left it open over kind of like long-term investment status. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
because I think those games are gonna come, but like if you look at this generation, like the things that Sony did very well, they had great games, exclusive games, and they had great custom consoles. So if they don't come with the great exclusive games at the very beginning, I'm going to hold off for a great exclusive console, because they're going to have like 10 of them, throughout this generation. So instead of getting that launch lineup, that launch console, I'll just wait a little bit. And then when the game that I do want to play comes out
with a limited edition,
I'll get that limited edition console.
Oh, dude! Like, and see, this is why I ask questions like that, because I never thought about that. Yo, Predator, that was awesome right there. Let's go to Crispy real quick. Crispy, when it comes to the PlayStation 5, what is your main concern? And like we said, we're gonna go back through and we're gonna do Series X right after this, but right now, it's about PlayStation 5. What is your main concern? And I think I already know what you're going to say.
Well, I mean, let's be honest for a second. I mean, Sony's a very they are a hardware-centric company, and we haven't seen the hardware. We've heard a lot about the hardware. We haven't seen it. And we keep speculating, and we keep seeing, mock-ups and just... I mean, a lot of, like, especially the last one I saw that was, basically the same kind of color as the controller was pretty cool. But it's like, I know that Mark Cerny said we want to have a traditional console style. I mean, he said at the beginning of his press conference. Okay, so we're going to have a traditional console in some way. What we're used to, the more horizontal and not vertical. So... that concerns me a little bit, because you're overclocking a lot of things. You got a lot of new hardware in there. And I see a bunch of, rumors or, speculation that they haven't even started making the console yet. That concerns me. Also, I always feel like, besides like maybe games like Godfall, which is technically second party, but they still continue to go single player completely. And I would love to see, devs like Naughty Dog and Guerrilla Games and a lot of these guys. I mean, especially Guerrilla Games. I mean, they made like Killzone 1, 2, and 3 were pretty good games, and they had great campaigns and multiplayers. Okay, and especially like Killzone 2 is probably one of my favorite PlayStation games of all time, and I had a lot of fun in that game, and I want to see them, bring out some new stuff. I mean, it's just like we say, on the other side, you gotta bring out one side or the other. And, if you haven't seen it for so long, like I used to when I was a younger, strapping child, as we like to say.
He said strapping child, not even young man. He was a strapping child, okay?
Because I was enveloped in it. Like PlayStation got me to love multiplayer so much, and I'm just concerned that they're just forgetting about it, because they used to be so good at it. They really did. I mean, most the first 3 SOCOM games were great, dude. Like, and you could go in the campaign and play co-op, and I mean, you had a lot of options, and then all of a sudden they just threw it to the curb. And I understand. I mean, people love Last of Us, but it's just constant single player. I want multiplayer. We haven't heard it unless it's a second party game. And I'm concerned that they're going to continue on the same road, and down the road, it's going to hurt them, because you can see with the success of so many multiplayer games that eventually this might catch up to them.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
so
I know that Naughty Dog is working on a multiplayer game right now, though.
I mean, I thought they were working on multiplayer for Last of Us 2, and then I haven't heard a word about it.
Yeah, but it's going to be its own game.
Well, see,
so they're going to charge you more.
Right
Are they going to charge you more? That's the question.
Well, because it's going to be its own. It's going to be its own game. So that I would assume they're going to charge you for it
a full price for the game. But in terms of what you're saying there, Crispy, is there's a good sign there that, like, what I think you're saying is you want Sony to kind of like focus more on multiplayer centric titles as well as their single player. And
well, I mean, they're great at single player, and we understand that. You know what I mean?
All right, and if that's what you're saying, I am totally with you on that, man. When it comes down to it, it is one of the things that I have spoken about throughout the years when it comes to, like, PlayStation games. Now, I do know, like, Uncharted has their multiplayer. Last of Us has their multiplayer as well, and a lot of people really like those. I never jumped in and tried them. But they were never a focal point when it comes to Sony, and I can see what you're saying in terms of kind of like doing more multiplayer focus type titles to come out for the console. I believe that's what you're saying, right?
The thing is, will it pay off though? Because like I know everyone says Sony doesn't have any multiplayers, and Xbox has a lot of multiplayers, but what are the big multiplayer games that people play? It's still going to be your Apex Legends, your Call of Duties. So even though
absolutely correct,
that's the thing. That's exactly it.
Is it going to matter at the end of the day? Are they going to be able to make something that's going to compete with those games?
Currently,
I don't think so. I think the third-party offerings are the main ones, and it's going to be really hard to compete with that space because the narrative Gears.
Right,
playing them.
The narrative from 2013, and believe me, it held water in 2013, which was Halo and Gears, right? But now when people sit, and don't get me wrong, Crispy actually made one hell of a compelling case. I kind of agree with a lot of what he said. But I got to be honest with you, nowadays when somebody goes, well, naturally Xbox is just the multiplayer box, right?
And I'm like, box, man.
Well, but it's not anymore. That's the thing. It's
not.
Because Gears has got the lowest attendance of all time right now. Halo is not doing the numbers it used to do. And realistically, what else is people playing? Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite, right? Call of Duty Warzone. Overwatch. And that's in Overwatch, and that's all being distributed either equally or probably more on PlayStation just because of install base. So, I mean, realistically speaking, what Xbox was holding on to, I would almost, and we haven't gotten to that part of the show yet, we're still on the PlayStation. There are concerns for PlayStation as well. But I think that narrative that Xbox is just the dude bro multiplayer box, they kind of lost that title.
But a long time ago, Mooch.
I feel like, when it came down to it, and again, a lot of my friends that do play on PlayStation, I believe they talk about the Last of Us multiplayer a lot, and when it comes down to it, I want more replay value when it comes down to it, and if
I'm with the Xbox,
they put on a multiplayer, a good multiplayer for more of their titles. Can you imagine? Say Horizon Zero Dawn. Can you imagine going in and just kind of going through the landscape, tracking down like herds of robots and stuff in co-op with somebody else?
It'd be like that adds World.
Yeah, but the difference, what makes the Last of Us multiplayer gameplay awesome is the Last of Us fundamental gameplay in general. That's the thing. When you're just doing the cookie cutter thing with first person shooters, which is what everyone is used to.
I wouldn't expect them to do cookie cutter when it comes to multiplayer.
No, that's not what I'm saying about. What I'm saying is that most first person shooters just do the cookie cutter process. You know what I mean? Like, what Sony did take a chance with The Last of Us, and it wasn't very well received. We know that, right? But it was a very good multiplayer.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you.
Have been well received because
Factions on The Last of Us is probably one of my favorite multiplayer games to play with friends, and just even if I'm playing solo, it's something where they take a very unique thought. When you actually say you have to be a cohesive group, that's one of the things when you actually stop and think about when you're playing. Like a lot of times, okay, take Battle Royale out of it, okay, playing squads on Battle Royale, that's a different animal completely. But if you guys think about Team Deathmatch or just Capture the Flag, it's really just you running out there be like, you know what I mean? Right?
Correct.
It's not, you're just running out there going,
you can't do that in The Last of Us.
No, you can't. You just run out there and do that. I guarantee you are just dead, and your team is just going to lose.
You're going to lose. You have to talk. You have to stop and craft. You have to know the environment. It adds a whole more different dynamic.
Absolutely not.
I don't think more unique multiplayer experiences is a lot to ask, though. You know, when it comes down to it, you're gonna have the campaign in there, which Sony's already known for. That narrative-driven, emotional, campaign. So to add the replay value, get more of a good multiplayer involved in their IPs. I don't think that's too much to ask.
The Last of Us had excellent replay.
Well, let's be honest. Those games came out last gen, and I'm looking for new gen shit, and I want to see it. Like I haven't seen it like this whole gen just about, unless it's a remaster, and that's just not right. I'm sorry. Like that's not the Sony I know, and that's what I'm bringing up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let me hit up the super chats real quick. Marty Bison hitting up that super chat one more time. He's like, not going to lie, I need another Warzone win. Yo, Mooch, you got people going crazy for Warzone, brother.
I love Warzone, man. I'm like addicted to it. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Our brother Enrique hitting up that super chat one more time. He said, Knox, I call you son, cause you shine like one. Yeah. Shout out to
Word
Enrique.
Is born. I call my brother son cause he shine like one. Shout out to Enrique, baby. You're ready.
All right, and shout out to one of the newest subscribers to this channel, Mr. Prime Time, and he is a golfing buddy of mine in the Golf Club 2019 as well. Good to see you in the chat, brother. He says, need first-party multiplayer games on PS5 for me to buy. And he has both the Xbox One and the PS4 right now. So that is coming from, a multi-console owner right there. There is one more, I believe. I don't know the chat. Okay. Yo, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast one more time. Biggest concern I don't have with the PS5 games. Oh, brother, you shots fired there in the super chat, man. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. What is your biggest concern though? And again, Enrique, one more time. Crispy, we want SOCOM, brother. See that? I think that's one thing. Crispy and Enrique will definitely team up for it. We need, dude.
SOCOM is one of the best third-person games I've ever played in my life, and I feel like they just trashed it to the ground. And they need to. They could remake that game. It's old enough now. They could start it from the bottom up, and they could really even make us even more excited for what they got. And like I said, when I heard that there's 2 studios working at Guerrilla, I was extremely intrigued because they would be the one dev that would be able to do it right, I think.
Crispy, can you see the new super chat that popped up? Or no?
Sir X-Men?
Yes.
Resistance.
Yes, I can.
Can you read that for us, brother?
They need a new Resistance. Fall. Great multiplayer.
Oh, nice, Sir X-Man. Another Resistance.
With that $2 super chat.
When it comes down to it, any super chat is greatly appreciated, bro. But when it comes down to it, Resistance is something I haven't heard from a lot of people, but I know Sir X-Man is a Resistance fan.
I'm the first party now, so.
Let's go to one of our special guests, and then I will definitely go to Dark right after that. But Mooch, this is going to be interesting, brother. I am there with you every week for Crossfire.
Yes.
All right. So now, finally, what is your biggest concern when it comes to the PlayStation 5?
Well, I mean, the panel attacked a lot of the issues. I think Pred had some good points. I think Knox hit some good points. You got to stop and take a step back when you're talking about new consoles in general, right? So first and foremost, their job is to why should I plunk down the $500-$600, right? Whatever it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. So the games you're going to get are going to be a technical masterpiece and a show. Not when I say that, I mean more of a graphical masterpiece. It's supposed to wow the eyes.
The casuals in the beginning.
Absolutely. And it also, believe it or not, it even gets some of the hardcore to kind of jump over to the other ship.
Oh, dude, there were a bunch of graphic horrors this generation, man. I'm just saying that.
Listen, it doesn't matter even if you're a PC guy, the reason that people claim to love PC so much is because of the frames and the graphical prowess that it puts off. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when you look at something like Shadowfall, right, that was just an unbelievable piece of eye candy, right? I mean, it looked great. It still stacks up a lot to today, a lot like Rise did for Xbox. Mm-hmm. And, when a lot of people said, well, I didn't really particularly care for what PlayStation 4 came out with at launch. Well, stop and think about it for a second. I mean, the games that launched with Xbox, again, a couple of them were nice eye candy pieces, but they weren't really in-depth, marvelous games that you can't wait to go back and play. Myself personally, I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but I've been saying it for years. I said it when it first came out. Like, I'll give you that Rise looked beautiful. I mean, I would literally a judge would have to sentence me to play Rise.
Forza Motorsport 5 is my favorite Forza this generation, though.
And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'll say this much. I'll agree with you, Xbox. Listen, I don't think it's the best looking Forza, but it was a damn good looking Forza. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with you on that one, even though you guys know that all racing games are just not my bag, right?
Turn to the left.
Right? There isn't even a right to do a cha-cha-cha. So the problem here is it's not necessarily that I think if I just have to pick something, I would say that Sony's got to do a good job at the upcoming event to sell us on why we would want to jump ship right now. And I think they're going to do that. I don't really care if their first party launches magnificently right away, day one. They're going to have one or two games, right? But there's a rumor that we're going to be getting a remastered Demon's Souls, which let me tell you something. I'm going through Bloodborne right now, and I am hook, line, and sinker with the Souls games. You guys know that. So if that's one of them, that's great. The fact that I could play Godfall, listen, Godfall might not be my bag. That might be like my Killzone Shadowfall, right? But if it's going to be a technical piece of eye candy that I can't wait to get my hands on, I'm probably going to play that. You've got Quantum Error, which was this space aliens type horror game, okay? That's going to be PS5 exclusive, timed exclusive. Then you've got another possible first-party game. They're saying the SOCOM thing, or even if we get The Last of Us 2 Factions, which I do believe that they'll probably charge for. I do not believe they will charge full price. I think it'll be a $20 or a $30 title. Okay.
Oh, if that's the case, I win the bet with K-Mega then. I'm just saying. I have a bet with them going on.
It'll be like Uncharted Lost
Legacy. What was the bet?
I said that they will charge for the multiplayer for The Last of Us at some point in time.
I think they will charge it, but I don't think they'll charge full price.
I think if they do charge it, it'll be with DLC. That'll be
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If they charge for it, let's understand why. You have to break everything down.
You already owe it, Mooch. They already promised it. They already owe it. Naughty Dog owes it already. They said 6 months after release.
Don't jinx my wallet, by the way.
That's fine. And that's fine. But here's the reason I think that they would actually charge a little bit more and I think that the fact of the matter is that a lot of people didn't like Factions because maybe they didn't like just having that one game mode. You know what I mean? They didn't like just having that one
They didn't
experience.
like to think. They didn't like to think.
Listen, that's an individual thing. But I mean, right? But I'm saying to you, though, is that maybe they're going to make it a little bit more complex, more game modes, more strategic more. That's on them, right?
I think it's going to be a more fleshed out experience, yeah.
I hope so.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think when it comes down to it, here's the other thing, Xbot, and I know that you're looking for a negative here. But when you're coming out of the PS4 era like we are right now, where you still have The Last of Us 2 coming out in less than 2 weeks, oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, then you've got Ghost of Tsushima, which may or may not be your bag, but I can't wait.
Ghost of Tsushima look good.
It's gonna
Sucker Punch already represented. So
when people say I need to be sold on PS5, what PS4 is doing, PS4 is like when you go to see your favorite, whether it be your favorite rock concert or your favorite comedian. When you have the top of the line comedian or the top of the line band you're going to see live, right? What do they usually have? An amazing opening act.
That's right.
And let me tell you something. PS4 is the best opening act for a PS5 you could possibly ask for, right?
That's Dice Clay opening for Sam Kinison.
Absolutely. Exactly.
That's what that is.
That's exactly.
Yo, guys, real quick, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Mooch. I just want to hit up the super chat because, when it comes down to it, I never got to play Factions. Shout out to Primetime, supporting the channel with the super chat. He says, Factions was pay to win. Best guns were behind a paywall. Is that true?
Well, I can tell you this much. I platinumed the game. I've played factions for hours. I've never spent 99 cents on it. I spent more on Game Pass than I have on factions in The Last of Us.
That is true. I got more in-game shit and used it to bring my character up. I spent money just on like bullshit cosmetic nonsense.
Yeah, cosmetics are there, but cosmetics are everywhere now. So
yes, I did that. Not pay to win.
I never paid not $1. So I'm not saying that that's not there. You don't need it. You certainly don't need it.
You don't need it.
You don't. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get
the
trophies out there if you needed it.
Correct.
So no, absolutely not. I just think that myself
personally,
it's not egregious.
It's not egregious.
So I guess to just go back to the question, so we can get back to the second part of it, is just that I guess that I would like to see what deals. I don't care if they're first party or if they're third party. What deals they have in place with other companies that have timed exclusives. You guys all might go, well, I don't care. I'll wait a year. Well, not really. Especially when you're talking about a launch of 2 consoles and they're going head to head. The more IP you have on your console wins, period. So if I get to go home and experience 3-4 AAA titles, right, on the PlayStation, and I go home and I only have Halo Infinite on the other, which I already could play on the console I have, which I can already play on PC, so it's a very difficult thing. I think PlayStation's trying to come out there and stack their deck. I really do. I think they're trying to stack their deck with games and be like, listen, even though our first party, we're going to show you what we got coming, like Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and Spider-Man 2. We'll show you those. All right, you'll get a glimpse. Those won't be ready for a year or two. Here's the deal. We're going to give you games. And like I said, PS4
Brother, a couple
is probably
of those
the best.
will be over a year or two. Let's just be real, man.
Well, they're saying Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is 2021.
Yeah, no, that, and I've even heard kind of like behind closed doors, like how close that is.
Right. So Xbox,
completion.
think about it. When you have a game, even if your console has one major, I think 2 is should be the staple. But I think if you have one major exclusive, big time, okay, on either side of the coin, I think you're doing something right. Okay, it's when you go a year with just nothing, or a year with 2 AA's. That's just not excusable. I'm sorry, I can't back that up. I don't care if it's PlayStation or Xbox. So long story longer, I think that you are walking into I think when you're walking into this November, I think when you go home with a PS5, you're going to have at least 2 or 3 games you can't wait to dive into. Now, Xbox has already done a third-party showing. We haven't seen their first-party showing, so it's a little hard to say. But right now, we only know that Halo's going to be their first party, and we know that Phil doesn't like to lock down any kind of timed exclusive.
And Scorn as well.
Is Scorn said to be a release title?
It is. I think it's exclusive for.
Yeah, but is it a release title upon the console?
I don't know. I don't know if it's
window, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So we'll leave Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite isn't even launch table. You know
what I mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
bro?
that's supposed to be a launch title.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's
one of the biggest franchises.
It is supposed to, but they said there's a possibility that it might not.
Yeah, well,
it's a slim possibility. They're the ones that put it out there, not me.
Hey, we're not on the Microsoft shit.
No, what I'm saying is they're the ones that put it out there, not me. They said it may or may not be, right?
The murder hornets.
Yeah, they're trying.
Spoke.
Oh man, yeah, you murder hornets. Yeah, that's the whole reason why. You better watch out, man. Yo, Dark, you have been incredibly quiet, and I thought you were gonna cut off Mooch at some point in time, man. You're kind of disappointing me right now.
He agrees with me.
Yeah.
He's making good points.
No, I was just letting everybody bitch and complain about fucking video games.
Oh, go Bloom.
Yeah. That ray of sunshine we know as Dark Optimus right there.
That was Go Blue magical right there.
Let me just say real quick, shout out to some guy, his name's some guy in the chat. He says, Mooch is talking like we know what will launch on the PS5. Well, everything that anybody's mentioned has been just a hypothetical, right? I mean, everything that's been mentioned on the show so far is hypothetical. I'm just saying that, like, we know that Godfall says holiday release, right? Quantum Error is supposed to be holiday release.
Godfall is going to be there for launch, man.
Yeah, but who cares about God? I don't know anybody that's excited about God.
You just met him. His name's Mooch.
Thank you.
It might surprise you.
You guys do realize it's my time to talk?
Oh, damn.
Go ahead, Go Bloom.
Go Bloom, what? See, he's even got me calling you Go Bloom now, yo. Dude,
I know.
Yo, Dark,
it rubs off.
What is your biggest concern for the PS5 for its launch, bro? Really?
For me, it's not really a concern. It's more of something I want. A new UI. I want new UI for the next console. I think the old UI that they've had since the PS3 is outdated. Actually, something that they've had since the PSP, actually, which has been outdated.
But I heard it's so much
for a while.
simpler to use, and a lot of people like
it. It is simple. It is simple, and it is good to use. But I want something different. I want it to feel like
I'm with Goldblum.
Like something new, like I don't want it to feel like, oh yeah, well this is the next.
Like the PS3 and the PS4 UI, Goldblum, you're right, almost identical. I mean, the PS4 is more snappier, but it's a duplicate. You know what I mean? It was a copy paste, and they take the bugs out of it. Yeah.
It felt like oh okay it's part of the PlayStation family, we know that, but I think I want something, because I mean Xbox has always done that, where they've always kind of come out with different new UIs and different things like that, and I just kind of want to see something Sony could do with their UI besides the same thing,
All right.
One thing I gotta say though, tip of the cap though to that comment, because he's right. I completely agree with everything Goldblum just said. I just say that the one thing that whether you like something or you don't, I'll never forget. Like there's certain times that you like a vehicle, right? And you get in, you go, boy, the model year changed. They changed the interior. I kind of like the last model, better. But you still get it. You buy the car and you deal with it, and eventually you get used to where all the programmatic things are, right? So you have your buttons are over here, your air conditioning, whatever, this and that. You got it. All right. My point being with Sony is whether you like what they do or don't, it's consistent and it stays that way throughout the generation. So that way you get used to and accustomed to where things are. The one thing Microsoft, I really hope they stop is whether it's great or not, whether you like it or not, I'm not even judging. Whether you like it or not, I'm just being top level. Stop messing with it. Like, put it out there and leave it the hell alone.
At least for a damn couple of years.
I agree with Mooch on that one because that's the thing. Like, I want them to create a new UI, but I don't want them to do it like how Microsoft has been doing it, where they just continue to update it like every single freaking month.
7-year beta program.
It's continuing to update. Like, I think the last week or the week before, they just updated it again, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, I was like, it took me a little while to kind of, realize, oh, they actually did something, but they did something. With the UI,
the latest update, when you hit the home button now, they move the home thing all the way to the other end. And your friends are all the way on the other end. And it's like, don't get me wrong. What happens is you get muscle memory. And you can say that this doesn't matter. But, like, I go to it. I just got used to the way it was. And then I know you can go into the options now. You can move things around. That's cool. I get it. That's cool. But, I mean, at the same time, like, Microsoft's got to stop with this whole, like, we're going to give you a million options. How about you just make the product and we deal with it? Like, let's get going here, guys. How many times do I have to keep moving shit around? You can move your tiles. You can move your friends. You can move this. You can move that. How about I move the hell off the platform? Let's stick to one idea.
You know what they should do? Just advertise that they can just, they could just advertise that you're gonna be able to like move stuff and show people how to do it. Like, that's the point. Like, it's more like you go on there and all of a sudden you're used to one thing and then you're like, oh shit, this shit changed. What the hell's going on? I agree with you.
I also think that PlayStation needs to update their UI on a more regular basis than they have been in the past, because it's kind of like when there's issues, you like have to wait like almost like a whole couple months before, or even sometimes a year before you get the update to or a patch to the UI. So I think they definitely have to speed up their updates on stuff, but I also think that Microsoft has to kind of dial it back.
Yo, guys, Sir X-Man in the chat, hitting up the super chat. He says, give me my damn snap feature back. Yo, guys, obviously, people actually really got into the older Xbox dashboard now that we look at everything, all said and done. We're about to move on to another generation. It's amazing how, again, it was like we were a part of a 7-year like beta test when it came to the dashboard. I actually really liked the original dashboard that the Xbox One came with, man. I love having that big block in the middle when I back out of like a YouTube or something like that, it'll still play there. It won't dominate the screen, and I like that. So, but
it was a pretty simple UI, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't very hard to figure out.
It was Windows Phone Live tiles for everybody. But on that note, I think we got everybody here when it comes to the main concern for the PS5. Now we're gonna flip that coin and talk about the Series X. And of course, I am the moderator, so I'm gonna go first really quick. One of the things, like the technology side of it, I get into. All right, I get into the specs and how they're distributing data and all that good stuff. Probably my biggest concern is it's similar to what they did with the beginning of the Xbox One, but in a much smaller iteration. The RAM speed. They have split up the random access memory. You have 10 gigabytes that go at one speed, and you have 6 gigabytes that go at a slower speed. Now, I'm a little concerned in terms of developers developing with that in mind and not just having a unified pool running all at the same speed. I want to make sure developers have absolutely no excuses for adding the bells and whistles to the games on that system. So with that being said, my kind of like biggest concern when it comes to the Series X, because I believe games are coming. You know, they didn't invest in 15 studios with multiple teams working on multiple kind of like anything AA to AAA and stuff like that. They didn't put all that money in for nothing. All right, so I'm excited to see what types of games they are coming out with. My biggest concern, though, is what they are doing with the RAM, because even to this day, even when we're talking about SSDs and the I/O throughput, all that good stuff, even to this day, developers, their number one request when it comes to consoles has been more RAM.
RAM, absolutely.
All right, so with them splitting that up, 10 gigabytes going at the higher speed, and then the 6 gigabytes going at the lower speed. That is my biggest concern when it comes to the Series X.
Good point.
So now when it comes down to it, let's go to my brother Predator first, man. Predator, I am really interested to hear what is your biggest concern when it comes to the Series X, bro? Are you muted, Predator?
He's flexing in that mirror, man.
Yep. I thought he knew where the button was.
No, you guys, y'all don't want to hear my cat over here now while y'all talking. So
no.
So,
well,
and he's on top. Yeah, he's on top of the computer right now. So, like, you know how that shit goes. He'll end up turning it off. So,
okay.
Man,
you didn't throw your cat, right? You're not on webcam, but.
No.
You didn't throw your cat, right? Okay.
To me, like, I'm not getting into the technical stuff of it because I
do, man.
I know, and I dig into that a little bit, but not nearly as in depth as you do. But that the stuff that you mentioned doesn't. I'm not even like going there because half the people out there in the world have no fucking clue what you just talked about just now.
But the other half do, though. The other half do, man.
5% give a shit. The other fucking 95.
Which I get no respect here, Mooch. I get none.
It's all right, buddy. It's all part of the show.
All right. So, in the last segment, I didn't get to the price because I thought that someone was going to say that, and that was a major concern for me with the PlayStation and the Xbox. They could have went both ways on both of them. I don't think, like, I'm hearing 600, 500, but that's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue with Xbox coming into this generation is marketing, because that's what fucked them up. This current generation, like just their message and their marketing, like they come out with
they're still not getting it with the whole inside Xbox thing, man.
And you think about how things just happened last month, and like that message still wasn't there. It wasn't hitting everybody, and so here's a perfect example, right? So they finally released a fucking custom console, right? Like today, like last week.
Did you buy that?
I did get that. I did buy it. And
he bought the Cyberpunk Xbox One X, people.
It's going in the closet. I'm not touching that motherfucker for fucking 2 years, and I'm gonna resell it for like $800 later.
And you're gonna cash dues. You're gonna cash.
Yeah,
I
was hoping
you cash dues for twice that, bro.
I was hoping you weren't gonna put that in your living room because that's one way to like get company to leave early.
I'm using that for the mid-gen refresh. That's my mid-gen refresh console right there.
That's an atrocious doorstop. You don't want
that. Horrid.
Oh my God.
I like it. I think it looks pretty cool, but I'm not going to use it. Looks
like something you buy at like a garage sale.
Oh damn, Mooch!
Right?
Really?
It does. It's like you have to haggle. Like I'll give you $5.
Everybody,
it looks like Halloween threw up.
I bought Stadia's got a great
He
controller.
said go back to Stadia.
Oh Lord!
No, he said Mooch bought Stadia. I got news for you. Stadia it's transparent. You can't see anything.
But you know what? You guys talk shit about it, but it's fucking sold out everywhere.
Yeah, but it's only like there's only 40,000 of them.
50, yeah, sold out means nothing.
No, that's the good thing though, because it will sell.
Like, no, don't get me wrong. What Pred's saying, you're right.
Yeah, he's gonna make now. You get 3 times.
He's gonna make bank off of it. So as far as an investment,
he's gonna make them yuccas.
But
he will get them yuccas.
You know what he's not doing? He's not putting it anywhere near his entertainment center, and that's a smart.
And that's what you and I are talking about. It's atrocious.
My Scorpio
Halloween vomit
on it.
Oh, no. It's quite the unique design.
He's got a backup. There we go.
Yeah, I still got my Scorpio here with the sticker on it. But the thing is, like, something that we asked for this entire generation is custom consoles, and that's like a perfect example. Like they didn't listen to us on that, and that's one of the reasons why they're not selling consoles, because they're not doing those simple things like that the customers are asking for. Even though some people collect these motherfuckers, right? Like they buy them, they sit them on the shelf like I'm gonna do. They keep them in the box, they don't fucking touch them, and they sell them years later. But some people actually want those consoles. That might be the reason why they buy it. Like that Cyberpunk console, had they come out with it with the Series X instead of with the current generation, would have sold gangbusters on release. But I'm pretty sure they don't want the game's coming out, September, October time frame?
The thing is, Pred, that for that to work, they would have had to make sure that CD Projekt Red has the game ready to launch with the X.
That is true.
Package it in, and then that would have sold gangbusters. That's the way.
Is the game ready to launch now?
It's not. It's coming out in September, but not the Series X version supposedly. But it is going to launch in September, though.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with the Halo one, or whatever the hell else they come out with the next.
If they make a Halo one, oh my goodness, man.
Exactly, like that.
And they should do that. They should do
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm talking about.
They
marketing.
Absolutely should do that.
Well,
there's things they should
come
do
out last year, I believe.
Again, there's things they should do and they don't, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like with the Minecraft.
Why would you be publicizing the Cyberpunk jump off when you got Halo Infinite, the relaunch of your title or your main franchise? Why the fuck aren't you talking about that? That's the thing I'm talking. But they talk about Game Pass though, baby. Game Pass.
Launch them at the same fucking time, because if they have Halo coming out with Cyberpunk coming out at the same time, I get that aspect of it, because Cyberpunk got pushed back, so. That's why these things happen the way they do.
Yo, Supa, Knox is a Game Pass hater, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but he is definitely
not a Game Pass hater. I see its advantages. I can absolutely take advantage of them. I actually do, right? I won't continue once it's not $1. If they put it for $1, I'll get it every time.
Dude, it hasn't been $1 for how long?
No, but I got it for 1,000,000 years when I took advantage of that deal.
$1 million?
I took advantage of that deal for 1,000,000 years.
Dead and gone twice, bro.
For $1. 1,000,000 years for $1, baby. You can't beat that.
All right, but real quick, Pred's talking about marketing, and that is a big thing when it comes to Xbox. It's one of the things that I know. I was out there on Crossfire and whatever other podcasts, besides this one, talking about their marketing, begging Xbox to hire me as their head of marketing. I will do so much better for them. Guys, we need to petition Phil Spencer and Xbox to hire Xbot448 as the head of marketing, and you will see a difference as soon as I get in there. I'm just saying.
You have the namesake, bro. Come on.
Yeah, please. Real talk, though. If they launch, with a custom Halo console and on the side, their traditional whatever the base console is going to be, they'll be fine. But even going forward from that, like, you know, can we get a Hellblade 2 console? Can we get a Forza console? Can we get they missed that mark this generation with that kind of stuff. And like when I talk about marketing, don't give me a Nike console that only 3 people can buy. Like, you got to win it on a scratch and sniff thing. Like, give it to everybody. Give us all an opportunity to get that shit.
Yo, that Nike console would have sold like crazy,
exactly.
Bro.
And that's why you sell consoles. Like, but they don't do that kind of shit. They just sell you the base And the thing is, like, so I bought my daughter her Xbox took a shit a couple of weeks ago, and I bought her the Jedi Fallen Order one, right? And so, like, this is their console. It's a sleeve that goes over the box of the original box they had before with a game in it, you know, like with the digital code in it. And that's their custom consoles. I'm like, well, you guys didn't really put a lot of effort in this. But I will say this, though. When they do custom consoles, they do them right. Like, the Gears one was fire. The Cyberpunk
one, the best one this generation.
Gears was good.
Both Gears ones are just amazing.
Both were good. Yes, I agree.
And they sell, like, even like I said, even the you guys think it's ugly as fuck, but that Cyberpunk one is off the shelf in like hours, you know. And so, like,
yeah, but the thing is, though, you got to look at why it's off the shelf. So if you break down the fact of what Crispy was saying, and I agree with you, is both Gears ones were fire, man. They look great. They look good in your console. They look good. That's something you want to. That's different because those come off the shelf because people want to keep them and show them with pride. When you have the one like the Cyberpunk, they're off the shelf because literally of resale value on eBay.
That's the same with the Gears one.
And price, dude. Like,
no.
$299. But no, the Gears one people collected that shit too. Like, even the Minecraft S version,
right?
They came out. The majority of the people that buying that aren't buying it for gameplay. They're shelving it. And that's everybody, because they're not making a lot of those. And we all know that those things are going to sell like crazy. I mean, like, even the fucking Cyberpunk controller, you can get you bought it for $70. It's going for $300 now on eBay.
Oh, damn.
Like,
crazy.
Well, that's my point. It's supply and demand, right? So the 45,000 consoles out in the wild is nothing when you're talking about a total of, like, what do we have, 110 with PS4 and 50 with Xbox. You know, there's 160 million consoles out there and they have 45,000. It's a spit in the ocean. So my point
that's more consoles they sold last month.
And Nintendo does this shit all the time. I'm just saying, like, Nintendo will hold back shit for a reason. I think they try to get the hype.
I'm not saying. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to change the subject of it, but I think it's just, if we're talking about a custom console, because I can't wait to have it because it looks good in my entertainment center, and I'm a huge fan of that game. Okay, that's one thing. But then if you're talking about literally, there's some that just fit the category of, I can't wait to buy this so that I can resell it for double the money. That's another conversation. They all fall into that conversation. I think we just proved it, right? Doesn't matter which one we're talking about. They all fall into that category. But my point was that when you take, like, the Gears ones that came out, or like the one that's coming out, like The Last of Us 2, like, there's people that are diehard Last of Us fans that I know. They're getting that. They're opening it. They're going to keep it. And when PS5 comes out, they're not even trading it up to get a PS5. They're keeping that PS4 because they're Last of Us fanatics. That goes on their shelf with all their Last of Us stuff.
That console's so goddamn ugly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
It's not bad, man. Come on.
I'll be honest with you.
Got a fern and a moth on it.
It's not. First of all, here's the thing. I would say this much. That's a different. It's not ugly. It's just extremely, extremely boring.
There you go.
Okay. Like, I don't think it's like the Cyberpunk one is hideous. Okay, that's just hideous, flat out. Like, you would never put that next to anything in your family room.
Did you hear their explanation for how they put it together, man? I don't know.
Yeah, that video was cool.
I feel like
they have somebody blindfolded with a dartboard?
No. Guys, I feel like we're drifting off here, and we're getting close to 9 o'clock.
That was the ultimate way they chose.
So we're getting closer and closer to 9. I did let our special guests know. I was like, guys, I'm not going to have you on the hook for that extra half hour that Next usually does. So I want to go to Supa real quick. SupaNova. When it comes to the Series X, what is your biggest concern moving forward with their console, man?
My honest biggest concern with the consoles, with Microsoft as a whole, is that it's going to be like a bait and switch, because I feel Microsoft and Xbox, they don't care about selling the boxes. You know that their whole thing now is Game Pass. Game Pass is everything. That's where they make all their money. So my worry is they're going to put the shiny objects in front of me. Oh, here's Halo Infinite. Here's Hellblade. and I'm going to buy this console, and then after that, it's just going to be Game Pass shit because all they care about is getting me into the ecosystem, and that's it. And yes, they bought 15 studios, but they're all AA studios whose last games were not great games. Yeah. Maybe they'll do something amazing with the extra money that Microsoft is giving them. And yes, they're split up into how many teams now, but are those teams going to be making big AAA bangers, or are they making bullshit for Game Pass to make Game Pass be a better value? Because again, all they care about is getting us into the ecosystem. We know they want to be the Netflix of gaming. That's all they care about. They want
look at what Netflix
mobile market.
Exactly, Soup. And look at what Netflix really is. Every once in a while, you have somebody go, "You gotta watch Ozark. You gotta watch Ozark. It's great." But then when you're done watching Ozark, it's just a bunch of filler, and a lot of it's just trash.
How many people sign up for Netflix, and the second Stranger Things is done being binged, they cancel it till the next time Stranger Things comes back?
Right. And that's the thing. Like myself personally, me and Knox have had this conversation a bunch of times, and I'm just kind of piggyback off of that. The biggest concern that I think that Xbox has is you have to sell. Why do I need an Xbox Series X? Because every game for the foreseeable future plays on my Xbox One X, and it's going to play on my PC
for at least 2 years.
So why? Well, that's what I'm looking for in July.
When Scorn does come out, it won't be on the one.
Man, Scorn! Look, I was so excited when I saw Scorn because I like that H.R. Geiger theme.
Yes.
And then I found out that it's been on PC in beta or some form. So I went and watched YouTube videos of gameplay of that game. And it is the most bland, boring fucking game I've ever seen in my life.
They are completely redoing it.
And you know what? I'll defend Xbox there. A lot of these games, again, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, they're going to come out. There's nothing going to be uber in depth, right? But there's going to be games that are supposed to be eye candy, right? That's what. So I'll give Scorn that. But I do think Supa's right. I think that game will be ultimately quite boring. But I mean, you know.
The
Kart Rider Drifter, come on, awesome. People.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Godfall, for example, I don't know yet. I got to see more about it. I think Godfall could be boring, but at the same time,
I think it's just a bunch of shiny characters so they can show their ray tracing reflections off, and after that, there's nothing else.
It's a looter slasher, is what it is. Yeah, like I've heard rumors about that game being $30, possibly even free to play. So, like, when people are coming out and kind of, like, hanging their entire hat on Godfall, I'm like, yo, you guys need to calm down when it comes to that whole thing. You don't even really know what that game is.
But you can still spin it, though, right? Like, even if you come out and say, hey.
Try.
You can. You can be like, hey, it's free here. You know what I mean? Like, you can spin it. Listen, I don't know what these next-gen consoles are going to do. I do know what I see from what they've put forward, and what they've put forward is this from Microsoft's perspective. Hey, we're baking in backwards compatibility, upscaling games. Developers got to do nothing. That, of course, furthers their Game Pass agenda, where the majority of the content. Hold on, bot. Don't cut me off, please.
Real quick,
but let me finish.
I am the moderator, sir.
Hey, Xbot, you can't cut off Knox because Froggy T. White in the chat there. He says, Mooch is cutting over people. I've been sitting here quiet the whole damn show.
I know. You've been behaving yourself, brother.
You know?
Who's yelling?
Hey, who the hell's talking during a talk show? Froggy, you're right. Let's keep it down.
I think this is the most I've actually heard.
We're not here to kiss ass. We're here to fucking tell you the facts.
Shit.
We're here to tell you the facts.
No, nobody talk. Nobody talk. Froggy wants just one at a time. Sorry, Froggy, one at a time.
Guys, real quick. In the super chat, Sir X-Man says the XSX needs headphone Bluetooth or USB like PS4. And then in the super chat all the way back, I gotta get all the way back. He hit up the super chat one more time. He said, Xbot, read my last super chat. It's very important. Brother, I just did. All right. So he wants
headphone Bluetooth? What?
Bluetooth or USB support for headphones when it comes to the Series X. I think you are going to get that. Because when it came down to it, I know
I think you'd get both.
The optical audio is not going to be on the back of the Series X, which I am actually disappointed for, because I play like Rock Band, stuff like that, and when you plug it in with optical into like a sound bar, you don't have to calibrate your guitar or anything. It just goes right with the music, with what you're seeing. It's real easy, so I'm a little upset that there's no.
You got to do some calibration. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian Baker, that's funny.
All right, so
Bluetooth, what are we, grandpas?
So,
All right.
Mooch,
All right.
Mooch, did you?
It was me. You cut off, bot. Hold on. Right? It was me. It was me. You.
It wasn't your turn, Knox.
What else do you have to say, Knox?
I forgot the fucking subject that we were even talking about. What I'm saying. All right. What I'm saying about the Series X. Listen, Microsoft is being absolutely transparent about what they want to do going forward. They are putting out a beefcake of a machine only to further their agenda. If you want it, buy it. It's like Crap says, the world's most optional console, and it's the truth, my dude.
When did you start saying that?
He did.
I know that's a damn good slogan.
I just said that I'm doing it for me and you, Crap.
Yep.
Good old Knoxximus, baby. You know what I mean? And that's how we get down. That's how we do. Right here on Next Podcast, baby.
You gonna talk shit about Gears next, bro?
Put me a shit. I'll tell you some shit about Gears. It better improve because it sucks ass since part 3. But what I'm saying is this. Microsoft is telling you, listen, they want streaming. They want Game Pass. That's why it's baked in to their most powerful unit, possibly the most powerful unit that we know so far, marketable, right? The console-wise, right? Going to be the most powerful, but to what, for what? For them to market their Game Pass, which is what they want, and that's what they're gonna do. That's why they want these games to look fantastic, because when they stream them, they want them to look good for you. You gotta pay for Game Pass, right? You gotta pay the $9.99. They're not gonna keep giving it to you for $1. They're tired of that. I got it for 1,000,000 years for $1.
They can't wait to stop this dollar thing. Believe me, they want everybody at $10 and $15 respectively.
And they're gonna get it. And they're gonna get it because they sympathize with a corporation. Like if they got their best interests in mind. You can't tell me I'm not getting second-party exclusive deals for you. I'm not getting exclusive content for you. I'm not putting AAA games out for you. The bare minimum with our top tier.
Who said that
AAA
games are coming, though, dude?
Right. Give me AAA.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I'll tell you what AAA. What do you mean it makes no sense?
I've seen so many AAA games that suck ass. That's what I'm saying. AAA is how much you spend on the damn fucking game, and that's bullshit.
AAA quality games.
Yeah, we're talking about quality.
It's a market of quality. A AAA quality game demands a AAA quality fee. It's supply and demand, my man. That's the way it works.
Not if they're getting a constant stream of revenue. Brother, I hear what you're saying.
I don't want to hear that because Gears 5 look beautiful.
Oh, here we go with Gears, man.
Well, Gears 5,
dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, this game
looked beautiful, but it was ass.
And I can always
it was a big open world of emptiness.
I can always find it. I play the game, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
That did shit.
I'm telling you.
It did nothing.
Like ass,
it wasn't
bro.
even immersive. At least in God of War, when you were scrolling the fucking boat, the head was talking to you, and Kratos and his son had banter. In fucking Gears, you do nothing. You go through a sandstorm.
You said banter, dude. There's banter through the whole game, bro. Like, come on, man. Dude.
No,
come on,
man.
Come on, man.
You can't look at the level of excellence. There was fucking glitches in fucking Gears 5 where you got stuck to an enemy.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. Yeah, there was.
Just don't deny it, my man.
Well, come on, yo.
I shouldn't even be. I shouldn't even be arguing with you, my man.
It's a single-player game.
Who's yelling?
Everybody.
I'm yelling. Everybody's yelling.
But the bottom line is Gears 5 is all you had for the X. Gears 5 was the only game you had for the X. That
was your saving grace.
And it was not a great game compared to what Sony was offering.
Dude, Sony is standing, bro. Sorry, bro.
The Last of Us 2 comes out in 2 weeks.
And it's going to be fucking phenomenal. It's going to be 10 out of 10. We already know it. And we do. And you know what? If I'm proven wrong, then so be it. I'll take my L.
Yo, Pred's playing the music, yo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's that Jeopardy music?
You gotta respect that music, guys.
Don't be walking me off.
Guys, I just want to say
the red light's flashing.
I am getting hypnotized by the awesome gameplay that's going on right now on this show. I'm just saying.
It's mesmerizing, Xbox.
Yo,
don't
Mooch,
be walking me off,
you...
B. Don't be walking me off, B.
Yo, listen, brother. Listen. Know your role.
Yo, walking escorted. Move on.
Yo, don't be walking me off, B. Nah.
Yo, Mooch, did you get into like kind of like your biggest concern when it comes to the Series X?
I just kind of did it as a top level. I'm very excited, and I was having a great conversation. Shout out to Boss Carlos. I'm a big fan of Boss Carlos. He's in the chat, and I'll be honest with you. Like I think the July event is
it
what
feels so long away.
It
so
does.
It
really does.
And
I mean, I just think that this is I don't want to use the words. No one likes to say make or break because like that sounds like you're giving them the last.
It
straw.
is.
But really, it is one of the situations where I say, okay, I'm prepared to buy. I've always had two consoles because I have my office and then I have the family room, right? And I'm a console gamer my whole life, so I like to kick back, have a drink on the coffee table, and enjoy a big screen TV playing a video game. I've always loved that, and that's just home for me, right? Mm. But I'm at a threshold right now where I say, okay, do I need two Xbox Series X's? Microsoft needs to show me in July what they're going to put on the box that I can't enjoy already on my Xbox One X. Something that is unbelievable that's coming out within the next X amount of months. Okay?
Well, but what if like say Halo Infinite, they show Halo Infinite, and you see the Xbox One version, you see the Series X version, and the Series X version just blows you away. You can still play it on the One, but you're not getting all the graphical kind of like advancements, enhancements, stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
Can I ask a question for Mooch?
Is it going to be worth $500?
Go ahead, Fred.
He's got a PC.
Yeah.
He can play
FPS. I'm telling you, Xbox has been pushing FPS. Dude, you could play. Dude, I can't wait to play Gears 5 at 120 frames per second, bro. I'm good with that. Like, dude, if you have the hardware, you have the TV in front of your face, and it's able to sustain that, then you might experience something you never had.
I went out and bought a TV that could do that, Crispy, but majority of TVs don't have the capability of 100.
And I agree with you, but that's not down the road.
It's taxing, though. It's taxing. You don't need that. 60 frames, you're good money. Yo, has anyone played Doom Eternal? That is probably the best fucking first-person shooter game that there is, dude.
Dude, it's first-person shooter on steroids.
That is the best. My man, I love. Yo, and that game pisses me off to no end, my dude.
Too, man.
It is hard as fuck, and I love it. Like that is. It's a strategic difficulty. I love it. Yo, you need ammo, you better chainsaw. You need a shield, you better set somebody on fire and wet them up. You shoot your rocket. Take out that dude's fucking rocket packs from far away, or he's gonna murk you. It is old school gaming in a new forum, the way it should be. Everyone should learn from Bethesda and Doom, because Doom is the premier. First person shooter, there's no better than that. I'm sorry that I went on. I
think it's all good, man. Dude, you haven't been on for a while. I know you have a lot to say. Being back at home on next podcast, brother. It's all good.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to make sure I live up to my promise here. I'm already 5 minutes over, and I still have to get Dark's biggest concern, and I have to get Crispy's biggest concern, and then we can wind it down, get into the outros and stuff like that. So Dark, when it comes to the Series X, what is your biggest concern?
Games.
But that's the thing, but that's a valid point,
bro. What the fuck?
But that's the thing. I know we're gonna see stuff in July, but I just don't know what we're gonna see. So I'm just kind of holding on to hope that we get something that I'm gonna enjoy.
He wants more single player, guys. He wants more single player.
Game Pass.
Well, you know me. I like more of the single player. Games anyways. So it would be nice to see something from them that's.
Nice, I got you, brother. And I think when it comes down to it, a lot of people who are looking at this, kind of like from the view that we are, when it comes to Xbox, they're waiting for the July event as well. They don't necessarily know what to expect. There's so many like new studios in there. What are they working on? What are they doing? I think a lot of questions will be answered in July, but to me it just feels so far away.
And there's so much pressure on that event.
It is. Yeah. It's super far away, but it's like since they already showed the console and we already know what it looks like. It's kind of like, okay, well, July, that's fine to see games in July.
I think July, they did that because they were looking at like because these companies both know at least a general idea of what the other company is doing, and I think they had it all the way in July. To kind of because there's this whole Cold War going for price right now between Sony, PlayStation, and
definitely
between Xbox.
A game of chicken.
They're playing chicken with each other for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're like, okay, so our first party's in July. What are you doing now, PlayStation? Like that's exactly what they're doing right now.
And plus, remember that these corporations know that there's always a sensation around this time, right? Traditionally, E3. And the like, so they know that this time for gamers is a time. It's like the movie industry and all that. You know what I mean? Like they know, so that's why these companies they know they can't. There's not going to be no E3. There's not going to be no live forums. There's not going to be any of that shit. So they're going to put out all the blockbuster shit. They're going to do it right now. This is the time that
they're actually spreading it out because E3 was that wall that they would hit. Like they have to show shit at E3, and like now they don't have that wall. But real quick,
right?
Max, I was gonna say I do want to go to Crispy. I want to hear his concern when it comes to the Series X, at launch. So Crispy, what do you got for us, brother?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. My biggest concern is that we need real games. We don't need. And I know I don't say it enough, but there's a lot of Game Pass filler. Up in there. Wow. Okay. There's a lot of Game Pass filler.
People should be lighting a match. They should be lighting a match while Crispy's saying this.
Well, I'm also going to say that we watched, Netflix do the same type of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the subscription-based service that they are pushing, because they are clearly pushing. I have literally watched if I'm on the ESPN app or something. Game Pass. I get it. Like Bleeding Edge, not my thing. No. Freaking Crackdown, not my thing. No. Okay? I want State of Decay to become a better game than it was. The glitchiness.
How about Sea of Thieves 18th DLC launch?
I mean, you could say that about Sea of Thieves, but they made it into a game that is on the highest level on PC.
They have a community, brother.
They released it to Steam, and it's pretty big. So they figured it out. And what I'm saying is we are in an age where you have subscriptions, you have DLC, you have freaking pay to win, you have all these weird, crazy ass things that are going on.
Correct. That's a motherfucker. Crispy preacher, baby.
and it's very hard to grasp what everybody's doing because everybody's doing a different thing. And it drives me nuts.
Oh no.
And Game Pass, what they're doing, baby. Well, Game Pass, I pay right now $15.
Oh,
I get games that I've never played before. You know what I'm saying? And I might not like them. No, I might not like them. But I get to damn well try them at least, right?
It's a buffet, Crispy. It's a buffet.
It's a buffet. Yes, exactly.
It's a buffet of crap.
You go and have that orange chicken. You go and have that orange chicken, and it's like, oh, that shit's gross. Oh, what's about that General Tso's? Oh, that's nice and spicy. I like the sweetness involved.
Yeah, but then before you know it, you had four platefuls of General Tso's chicken. And you're like, yeah, that was really good, bro.
And that's the point. We want AAA games.
Or you've eaten so much
quality AAA.
You've eaten so much of that chicken at the end, your stomach's hanging over your belt line, and you're like, this was not a good idea.
Right? My stomach's already hanging over my belt line, Mooch. What you talking about?
But guys, remember, you can't blame Microsoft for that. They're transparent. They're telling you.
Oh my goodness, guys!
I will say that,
and I'm being genuine about this.
I know you are.
They're telling you from the beginning.
Microsoft
Game Pass is our initiative.
Microsoft knew that they were not going to beat PlayStation and consoles sold. They understood that, and that's why freaking Phil got a seat at the table because he said, "You know what? We can make you money. We can make you money without doing that." And A lot of people will say, "Oh, 10 million, they're all paying $1." That's bullshit. Because I'm paying 15, my girl's paying 15, her friend's paying 15. Come on, man.
I'm paying 15 as well. But check this out. Check this out, guys. Check this out, guys.
Pay the 15.
We already went over. You guys can continue this argument on Xbox Live as soon as the show is over. You can just go right over there into a party, and I would love to hear it. And I think a lot of other people in the chat would love to hear it as well. Shout out to Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat one more time. He says, yo, you up for golf tonight when I get off work, Xbot? Well, it depends on when you get off work. I am definitely down for golf. Let me know when. Yo, hit up either the DM on Twitter or hit me up on Xbox Live. I'm turning my Xbox on as soon as we get off air here. But guys, that is another next podcast in the books. Now, I know we didn't cover a lot of topics, but I feel like the topics that we did cover.
Halfway.
No, not at all. And trust me, Supa, if you decide you're going to do more live shows and stuff like that, you'll see how often that actually happens, brother. People have no idea the lists of topics that moderators, hosts, like they put into the DM, and then how much actually gets covered when we go live. It is absolutely it's hilarious, dude. Absolutely hilarious. I am gonna start with our special guest. Let me start with the new guy in the community, our brother SupaNova. Brother, when it comes down to it, it sounds like you have done this like a million times already, dude. You fit right in. You shared your opinions. You cracked at people when you needed to. It was a lot of fun, brother. Definitely appreciate you coming on the show. I hope it's not the last time either. I would love to have you on again. This is the part of the show where we do the outros. Like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get those plugs in.
Right.
So let people know about your YouTube channel. I do have it in the description below. I suggest everybody watching right now, if you're not subscribed to this guy yet, you definitely have to hit that link and subscribe. His videos have a lot of information in them, and they are absolutely hilarious. But dude, go. You let them know, and let them know where they can go and talk games with you on social media, brother.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I'm real new to this game. I just really I started like a year ago, but I put it down for a while. I really just started again about a month ago. And so my gaming channel is SupaNova Gaming, and SupaNova is spelled S-U-P-A Nova. And then I have a Twitter, which is Gaming SupaNova, and that's really it, man. I don't do much else, but yeah, I had a blast, had a lot of fun doing this. It's my first time doing it, and anytime you want me back, man, just let me know.
Nice. You, dude, you just said the magic words to me, man, and I will hold you to that, brother. I'm just letting you know. I did graduate from the Mooch moderator podcast moderator school, and you just gave me the green light right there. Speaking of the man, the seasoned veteran, somebody for some rhyme or reason gave me my first weekly seat at a gaming podcast, Mooch. It was an absolute blast having you on again. I don't know if you know this, but you have the most special guest appearances on the next podcast in comparison to anybody else. And awesome. I think the chat knows why, man, because as soon as you come in, you and this panel, absolutely electric. Thank you, brother, for joining us. And, you got to plug what you got to plug, man. You're on Twitch. You're on YouTube. You're on Twitter. Let everybody know who doesn't know already, man.
Great. I got to be honest with you. No, it's been a blast, buddy. Thank you for having me on the show. I love coming on next, dude. Honestly, Xbot, main reason I first reached out to him when I was starting Crossfire, said I'd like to have you be on the show, is the energy, the excitement, and you guys have to understand that Xbot he's a gamer. A lot of people use that word loosely these days. But this guy games. He plays a lot of different genres, types of games. And I'll be honest with you, when you and Mel do your streams, listen, I might be, they call them lurkers, right? When you're not always active in the chat and on Twitch or Mixer. But I always watch you guys. You guys always have a blast. You guys make things fun. So Xbot, kudos to everything that's going on. That's great about next podcast. You have an amazing panel. Great show. I will say this much. I will plug this much. You guys already know the Mooch78 on YouTube. Please go over there, hit the subscribe button. That means the world to me. But one thing that I've been doing recently, Right? Please be a member. But at the same time, I've been just dipping my toe into the Twitch world, and I am now tomorrow we're doing a huge extended. I'm on part 4, pardon me, of Bloodborne, and I'm going through and I'm trying to do as much Twitch as I possibly can in between doing YouTube, and I really, really enjoy it. And I want to say this much: it's something different. I do something different. Come over and check us out. It's the Mooch78, same thing on Twitch, twitch.tv. Check it out. We talk, we interact. It's not just watching Mooch play a game. I don't just play the game and go, oh, hey, Xbox, thanks for stopping by. And then I go back and play the game for another 2 hours. Then I look over the chat 2 hours later. No,
we did co-streams and stuff like that, man. It's
absolutely
definitely entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's like a podcast. And guess who the panel is? The panel is the audience.
There you go.
When you guys talk, we bring it up. And we talk about it, and it's an amazing thing. And we get through a lot of the game. So it's a lot of gameplay. It's a great little experience to go through. Check it out. Please do go over there and follow that. That would mean the world to me, too. And, guys, awesome sharing the stage with this panel. It's an outstanding panel you put together. Xpot, thank you again.
No doubt. Thank you, brother. And next on the list, I gotta get him in here because he probably wants to get out as fast as possible. That is my brother Predator. Pred, thank you for helping me try to keep everything streamlined today, man. It seems like that has become your adopted job when it comes to the show, and I appreciate you doing it. And of course, all your opinions on the topics. Why don't you let people know where they can go to talk games with you, and anything else you would like to announce, bro?
I gotta keep Knox and Crispy in check, man.
Yeah, so. I could tell, man. That was.
Oh, yeah. Baby, thank you.
Now, real talk. I won't be here next week. I got some personal stuff to take care of, but the following week I will definitely be back on. And you know how I do. Just hit me up on Twitter, Predator Space H2OS, and hit me up on my OnlyFans and my Pornhub channel. Yeah. I'll see y'all next week in a couple of weeks.
Yo, who out there is a Predator H2O's OnlyFans member? I need to know. Yo, hit up the chat. I need to know this. Yo. Let's go with my brother Crispy. Crispy, dude, it seems like, when it comes down to it, you and Knox are like a match made in heaven or something. The electricity
hell with heaven involved.
Just goes through the roof when you guys get together, man. Dude, you're a part of
That's my mezzanine.
Yo, dude,
more like a match made in purgatory.
No, it's like
that's my mezzanine, man. That's my mezzanine.
Purgatory is not that loud, Mooch. Come on, bro.
No, but purgatory's right there. It's not in between. Yeah. It's in between.
I'm not in isolation.
I bet you the best conversations happen in purgatory.
7.
Probably, right? Probably.
That's like a Seinfeld bit waiting to happen. Go ahead.
Yo, Crispy, why don't you let people know about the other podcasts you're on, where they can go to talk games with you, and if there's anything else you would like to announce, brother?
Well, let's be honest. Great panel. I love these guys.
Dude, this show went by so fast.
Everybody, it felt like nothing. Like it was like, holy shit, we're done already. Yeah. Like we're already 20 minutes over. I mean, come on, man. But it's guys. At Crispy Bomb on Twitter. At Crispy Bomb on Twitter, and you can find me on Breakfast with Boom Fridays. You can find me on Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesdays. And then you could also find me here on the next podcast, 7 p.m. every Saturday night.
Ooh, yeah. Yo, that's what I like to hear, brother. Dude, awesome. Yo, our brother Knoxximus came back. He came back home. Yo, Knox, man. Well, anything you want to let them know? Yo, your social media, where they can go to talk games, anything like that, man. The stage is yours, bro.
No, yo, listen, man. I just want to say, yo, everybody stay up. As always, it is great to be on the next podcast, the best podcast. You know what I mean? I'll give it up. My man Bot, great panel, great chat, like always. Like I'm saying, everybody stay up. Don't let none of this shit discourage you. Keep doing what y'all do. And like always, man, we here to represent. And if you want to follow the kid, you come to good old Knoxximus in Knox we trust. Don't trust them Xbox liars, man. Phil, don't trust Snake Oil Phil. He'll do it to you. He'll tell you the best
only
generation.
Trust him. That's it.
The best generation of gaming ever. It's gonna be great. I'm more excited about what I didn't show you. No, but I'm just fucking.
Oh wow.
But
Dude, you made Phil sound like Chauncey, man. Like I don't know what happened there. Yo.
That's his brother. That's Chauncey Spencer. You didn't know that was Chauncey Spencer?
No, I didn't know the last name.
Brother. Yeah, man. Yo,
God,
he gets treated like the redheaded stepchild. I'm telling you, we gotta make America really great again. Make it godly again. Fuck about great. Make it godly. Make America godly again, baby.
By the end of this year, we should be all looking at each other and saying, you know what? We made something happen. That's what I'd say.
You know we're gonna say, you know what? We missed the murder hornets. Like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen, yo.
But it's always fantastic, man. One love to everybody. In Knox We Trust right here on YouTube. You already know. Yo,
nice, bro. Nice. Yes. And my brother from the West Coast, that longboard rider over there with the mullet. Yes, I am talking about Angry Otter, aka Dark Optimus, aka Goldblum. As always, it is a blast having you on, bro. Like, as soon as I say you're quiet, you just come in with a one-liner that just like blows the entire panel up. Absolutely appreciate that, man. Why don't you let people know where they can go to talk games with you, via social media, and if there's anything else you want to say, bro.
Yeah, I learned a couple things tonight about this podcast. Knox likes hard things. I'm just saying.
Only in terms of liquor.
We like sweat things.
And Godfall is the crossfire of the PlayStation games. So
okay,
but
okay.
Crossfire.
But no, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live and PlayStation at the same name. And Bot, as always, man, it is a pleasure to be on the podcast, man. Nice,
guys. And that pretty much does it. It is Saturday night. The gamers got a game. We got to get those controllers in our hand. Huge shout out to my special guest. This was an absolute blast. I hope you guys out there were as entertained listening and watching this show as we were putting it out there for you. But I'm going to end the show the way I do every week. We will see you guys next week for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Later.
Peace.